We're proud to bring you this live presentation on Racer TV of the 50th anniversary of the Progressive Grand National Cross Country Series, presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. 50 years of world premier off-road racing. 50 years of battling the gnarliest woods racing on the planet. It's time to start a new chapter. The next 50 years starts now.
GNCC is back for round number 6 of the 2025 season in the mud. And the rain is in full force at the Powerline Park, GNCC. Our man, Ben Kelly, is in control of the points lead coming into today with back-to-back wins, but a hungry Grant Davis from the XC2 looking for his first overall win of the season and maybe chip away at that points lead by Ben Kelly. All that and more starts right here, right now on Racer TV. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Craig DeLong, Johnny Gerard, mano y mano.
I think if Johnny can maybe send it around the outside like he's trying to do there.
Look at that. That is a full XC1.
Is this a NASCAR race?
Absolutely a sensational. When things get tough, look out for Jordan Ashburn.
Racing dirt bikes, it's a lifestyle. It's something where every single choice you make sets you on the path to how you're going to succeed or perform. You live this every second of the day.
Stu hauling the mail.
Stu is one of the most gritty riders out there.
There is Gerard. Johnny Gerard, he has been stellar. Most wins on the season out of anybody.
Nick DeFeo also has a 50-some-odd second advantage.
Are you kidding me? T-Rex, the 246. Nick DeFeo, you're going down in the GNCC history books, man.
I just like riding my dirt bike. Johnny out front, Caleb pushing as hard as he can.
This is everything they have.
That was a battle.
That was a hell of a ride by both of those men. Like he's got a cougar on the back of the bike.
Stu Baylor taking the inaugural Talladega GNCC win.
3 hours is a long time. 3 hours of racing is gnarly.
I know I can show up and I know I can win on any given week.
Johnny, we made it. Round number 6. We are into the meat of this season. There's no doubt about it. And, hey, the story of the last, couple seasons, 2 years, 3 years of GNCC, rain, mud. We have more of that here today. There's just no way around it. This is going to be a gnarly one again.
Yeah, you come to Ohio in May, it rains here.
Yeah, yes.
The saying is April showers bring May flowers, but I think it's showers in May, we come out and play. That's how it works here in Ohio. And I think it's going to be a great race here today. But the reality of it is, folks, it's a muddy one.
That's absolutely correct. We go back a couple of weeks or 3 weeks ago. It has been Kelly who has now kind of emerged as the man with the target on his back. He's leading the XC1. He's leading the overall points. And he's really in control coming into today.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben kind of started off the season probably a little slower than he would have liked, but when it comes right down to it, he's been the most consistent guy. He's continuing to add now to that points lead. Seemingly these last couple races, just week in and week out. Great ride at the Old Gray 2 weeks ago, grabbing another win and starting to distance himself from his competitors.
Yeah.
Obviously, Grant Davis sitting there in the number 2 spot, and second again at the Old Gray, and then Caleb Russell up on the podium, that overall podium, and second in XC1. Just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at the Old Gray. It's starting to sort itself out, but there's still a lot of riders that would like to throw themselves in the mix and grab a win here today.
That's right, and I want to show some love. The man that got 4th in the OA, 3rd in XC1, Ricky Russell, on the Triumph. Maybe this is an indication of what we see from Ricky throughout the rest of the year. That's a huge confidence boost for him.
Absolutely. Coming in on a new, somewhat unproven machine, at least in GNCC, he's putting Triumph on the map right now. And to put them on an XC1 podium and 4th place in the overall, I think the thing that stood out to me was I spoke with Ricky after the race, and he was very upset. He wanted that overall podium. It obviously was his best ride so far of 2025, but nonetheless, he wants more. He does very well in the mud. We've seen that in the past. so wouldn't be a shocker to see him up in the mix battling for a win here today.
Be interesting to see how that plays out. He was upset that he didn't make the OA podium, maybe because Caleb got third in the OA, but the man that he's not going away. We're done acting like we're shocked by this anymore. It's Grant Davis out of that XC2. He's going to continue to be relevant, and he's going to continue to be in the conversation, I think, for the overall championship this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We've referenced it many times during the live show that some comments were made at the end of last year. His dad and Grant himself have said, hey, we're here to race for a championship in 2025, and not necessarily just an XC2 championship.
Yeah, right.
We want to be in the mix for the overall, and a lot of people were kind of, jaw-dropping, gasping that someone would have the audacity to say that. I was one,
admittedly.
But the reality of it is, we're now sitting here at round 6 of 2025. He's sitting second place in points. Does not yet have an overall win.
Right.
But at the same time, second in points, he's the closest competitor to our overall points leader, Ben Kelly, and he's in the mix, man.
He is.
He's not far off, and he rides very well in the mud. Is today the day that he strikes back and puts himself back in the points lead where he spent much of the first couple rounds?
Be interesting. We actually had a chance to get Grant's perspective on this with an interview prior to today's race.
It's been sick, honestly. Being second overall in points and being right there for the hunt with BK is pretty awesome, honestly, at my age, being 19, to battle against him. He's won, it's like 6 or 7 overalls in a row. He won in 2022, so that's pretty big achievement for me to be battling with him. And I got to stop his win streak right now, I know that. But getting some stuff figured out, got some more suspension figured out, and I love the mud, so I'm ready for this weekend.
Well, good to get Grant's perspective coming into today's race. He's certainly confident. We go back to last year, Johnny, and of course he had the couple of wins in the overall. He had some success here as well. He had a top 5 finish on this property at Powerline Park last year, but it was our man Craig DeLong grabbing the win.
Yeah, Craig DeLong just showed up here last year. These conditions are pretty close to what he rides a lot down in the Waynesburg, Pennsylvania area, not too far from here. And, man, he was just on rails all day. He was able to hold off a very hard-charging Johnny Girard at the end of this one. Ultimately, obviously, would be our 2024 champion. But on this day, Craig DeLong had his number, and then Grant Davis, third place overall, and put in a stellar ride, got himself up on the box. And Mike Wachowski, he seemed to sit in that 4-5 position throughout much of the season last year in his rookie season in XC1. So 4th place overall for him, and then, as you mentioned, Grant Davis, 5th place overall. So Mike Wachowski, another rider, I think, maybe coming in here with something to prove today. Obviously, running up in a podium position, solidly in a podium position, and looking like he might battle for a win just 3 weeks ago at the Old Gray in Tennessee. A freak mechanical taking him out about halfway through the race. Much. So I think he's definitely going to be on a mission to prove something here today.
The stage is set. We neglected to mention a lot of names, but nonetheless, it's been a wild season. I think anybody has that potential of a win today, certainly of a podium. But, hey, we've debated enough. We want to see what these guys are going to face today. As far as the course, we know it's rainy. We know it's muddy. What does the rest look like? And for that, we're going to throw it to our man, Jackson Burrell, who stands by with our trail boss, Jared Bolton, for a Yamaha Racing track description.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm down here with our trail boss, Jared Bolton. Jared, we're back here in Ohio. Ohio is known for its dirt, for its mud. What do you expect here this weekend?
Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed that these sprinkles stay away from us and might get into some of that dry dirt. The thing about Powerline Park is this Ohio clay is incredibly slick when it's wet. It gets hard packed when it's dry, and it's actually pretty good at times. But, this track got a little bit of something for everybody. I know I say that like every race. But you got the fast stuff, you got some tighter stuff, you got some grass track. But it's all that Ohio clay everywhere around it.
All right, guys, there you go. Back up to you.
All right, thank you, Jackson and Jared, for that Yamaha Racing track description. That's what the course looks like now. We'll see here in about 3 hours of racing just how much the course breaks down, changes, and how many challenges it really, truly does throw these riders' way. But for right now, we're going to let our man Mikey Waynes head down, do some 10-second calls. We're going to be back with all the wild and muddy racing action here on Racer TV Live right after this.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too.
That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? I don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The Wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank.
Hey!
Brought my +1. Jamie.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVNC.com. Get ready.
And a good afternoon, and we want to welcome everybody watching at home on RacerTV.com. Round number 6 of the 2025 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Racing Series. Got a thumbs up as you folks at home are tuning in. We are ready to introduce our starting row for the XC1 Pro class. Here at the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC, riding to the line in accordance to points, the 530 out of Connecticut on an FMF Factory Racing Red Bull KTM, Ben Kelly. Rolling to the line next, the 557 out of Boonville, North Carolina, riding aboard the M-Pro Yamaha, Caleb Russell. Up next, the 198, a rider who hails from New Zealand, riding aboard the M-Pro Yamaha, Liam Draper. Up next, the 514 out of Hodges, South Carolina, riding aboard the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Racing Team Green Kawasaki, Stu Baylor. Up next, the number 8 out of North Carolina, riding aboard the Phoenix Racing Honda, Mike Wachowski. Up next, the 342 had a win here last year out of Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, riding aboard the Rockstar Energy Factory Racing Husqvarna, Craig DeLong. Up next, the number 7 rider out of Australia, riding aboard the Liquid Molly Factory Racing Beta, Josh Strang. Up next, the 212 out of Duval, Washington, riding aboard the Enduro Engineering Triumph, Rough and Rowdy Ricky Russell. Up next, the number 3 out of Livingston, Tennessee, aboard the Flat Rock Motor Club Factory Racing Gas, Jordan Ashburn. Up next, the 336 out of Elkin, North Carolina, out of Icon Services, JDP and Moose Off-Road backed Honda, Ryder Lafferty. Up next, the 347 out of Jefferson, Georgia, riding aboard the M-Pro Yamaha, Evan Smith. And last but certainly not least, the 314 out of South Carolina, riding aboard the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Racing Team Green Kawasaki, Grizzly Grant Baylor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your starting row here for the XC1 Pro class at the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC. And as our pro riders take their spots on row number 1, this is where we like to say, what's up? DJ Judd, please keep the meat exactly where it's at. Don't move it. It's slicker than a mayonnaise sandwich out here. And we don't want you getting stuck. So he's camped out over there, but that's cool. On the mobile entertainment activation transport. And just a reminder, all spectators must be behind the white stringer line. All spectators must be behind the white stringer line. And Ricky Towery letting our riders know we are 5 minutes away. 5 minutes away from going racing. 5 minutes. By the way, Ricky Towery high up in turn number 1 on the outside of turn number 1 here today. So keep your eyes on Ricky. It's been a gnarly weekend for those at home watching on Racer TV. Rain, mud, Slick. If you're just tuning in, this will be a minimum 2-hour race. What does that mean? Well, if they check in and they've ran 1 hour, 57 minutes, they're going back out for another lap. So a minimum 2-hour race. Absolutely gnarly conditions this weekend. But we come into it. Ben Kelly, your points leader. Grant Davis continues to be sensational out of the XC2 Pro class. And we have seen the XC2 have success, especially in these mud races this season and into last season. Will we see more of that today, or will the XC1 prevail? We'll have to wait and see. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, just under 5 minutes to go. And continuing to listen to radio chatter and wait on that okay, safe to race. Caleb Russell coming off a great ride. Ricky Russell coming off a sensational ride on the Triumph, putting it on the XC1 box. But that overall podium just eluding him. Maybe some added motivation here today for Ricky Russell and the rest of the XC1 class. Hungry here in round number 6. The meat of the season for 2025. So getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Again, continuing to listen to radio chatter and wait on the okay, safe to race. We'll get a weekend off, and then we'll head over to Indiana for the Hoosier GNCC after this one. And who's going to carry some momentum into that one? So all eyes on the maestro man, Mr. Ricky Towery, as we wait on the okay, safe to race. DJ Judd keeping us warmed up over there. Thank you, buddy. And we wait with bated breath to steal one out of our buddy Rodney Tomlin's playbook. Good crowd out here. Y'all brave the rain, the overcast, and maybe the potential rain. We'll have to wait and see. Knock on wood. We're done with it. Let's get it going. So again, if this is any indication for you, the delay, not a huge delay. We did abbreviate that AM race as well, but just absolute chaos out there. It's been a race all weekend long, really. 4-wheel side, 2-wheel side of survival. It's been you against the track. There's been bottlenecks. There's been bikes that just plain don't make it. It's been a tough one, but creates for some unique and great racing, and you got to feel like, regardless of what class you're in, regardless of where you're at coming into today, when things get wild, everybody's got a shot at possibly bettering their season, maybe grabbing a win, maybe grabbing your first top 3 of the year, all within grasp. So continuing to listen to the radio chatter, waiting on the okay, and as soon as we get it, we'll be off and rolling. While we got time, just a safety reminder for you guys. We've got a very cool new program. There's a phone number you can take a picture of, jot it down, just program it into your phone up at registration. That's if you need to report something. You ain't got to find a track crew worker and say, hey, my neighbors are being rowdy and loud or whatever. That's for those emergencies only. If you're stuck out there on property, we are towing people out. Throw your flashers on and we'll come get you. It might take a little bit. A lot of folks stuck out there, but be patient. We got the guys out there towing vehicles out, campers out, RVs, etc. So hang in there, be patient. They're coming, I promise. Just throw those flashers on, and they'll know what's up and get to you as soon as they can. So whether you're racing or spectating, you get a taste of it. I got roosted this morning, first thing, trying to help push a golf cart for Nachi, so even I got involved. I'm the talent. I'm not supposed to get dirty, and it was like 7:30 in the morning. That's crazy. George is laughing at me. I laughed too. It was okay. It was okay. We'll get through it, folks. But right now, hurry up and wait. Just hurry up and wait. We'll get there. Big John, are you ready? Yeah, I got a thumbs up from Big John. He's ready. I'm ready. Just waiting on everybody else. So, towing them out, waiting on the safe to race. Be right back here just a moment. Landers KTM Holeshot Award up for grabs. And the XC1 and XC2. And, of course, LoJack Cycle Sales sponsoring that XC3 Holeshot Award. And I got to say, the Holeshot winners haven't always been the guy with the lead heading into the woods. That turn 2 has been absolutely gnarly this weekend. And we had a lot of rain yesterday. We weren't able to get the drone up in the sky. Today, maybe you'll get the drone, the bird's eye view of just how gnarly turn 2 is. It's not as bad as it was, or as gnarly as it was, but still a tough one. So we wait, and we wait. Getting close, folks, getting close. While we wait, hey, big shout out. I was talking about folks getting pulled out due to the mud. If you've got some time, if you're stuck out there, if you're stuck now, we got to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Progressive. Progressive Insurance, save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and your motorcycle insurance. And, oh yeah, the Progressive Campground. We've got a cool QR code we throw on the broadcast in the afternoons. You can scan that QR code and get yourself a quote. Maybe save you hundreds of dollars on your camper, your RV insurance. A little shout out there for the title sponsor, GNCC Progressive. Not a bad deal. As soon as I get down here, I know they're going to say we're ready to race. And I know how much the XC1 guys love when I come and talk to them right when they're on the starting line. That's probably their favorite part of racing. And, Ben, you get to be that guy because you've got the reverse plate, dude. Ben, these moments are awkward for us. It's awkward for you guys. But there's nothing you can do about it. But this is where these seconds feel like minutes. What goes through your head in a situation like this?
Not much. I've already thought about everything I need to, and I guess this is the calm before the storm. It's kind of nice, honestly, and yeah, just hanging out and getting ready to do battle.
Points leader coming into today. You've had very good last 2 rounds. Overall wins in the last couple. You're the man with the target on the back. What's the where's your head at coming into today with that points lead, rocking the reverse plate?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I'm proud of it, and yeah, I feel like this is where I belong. So just gonna keep going. You know, I've done plenty of mud races in my life. We did 2 gnarly ones this year already, so might as well do another and try to, you know, have some redemption, do even better, and take everything I learned from the first 2 mud races and, yeah, apply that to today.
All right, brother. I'll let you get redialed. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you. Grant, you're right behind him. You're rocking the reverse plate, too, so you're the next victim here. And second in points coming in today, as far as the overall is concerned, we've talked about it extensively. Oh, we're so shocked. This is crazy. This is happening. Johnny Gallagher's no longer shocked. I'm no longer shocked. Racer TV's, well, Johnny, all right, he's like, no, I expected it. He's full of it. But, dude, you're in the fight. We're at the midway point of the season. You're not going anywhere. You're fighting for a national championship in the OA.
Yeah, last race in Alabama, I was ripping in the mud. I had a 2-minute lead physically on track over Stu. But my bike broke and he got me, but hopefully today that don't happen and I can put it together and make up on some points. Ben beat me at the last 2 rounds, but I got to put a stop to that.
You guys have obviously had the success going back to last year and into this season. These mud races seems like the ones where you guys really excel. It kind of slows the pace for the guys that have to hit everything first, and you're able to get up there sooner. You feel like that's an advantage for the XC2 here today?
Oh, for sure. When you just latch onto the XC1 guys and follow them, you can just see where they're going. If they take a bad line, you can take another line and make up on a pass or something like that, and it just makes it easier for us.
Ben just looked back at you, pointed at his ear. He said, "I'm listening, you little punk kid."
Yeah, he's been giving me some crap this week, and I've been giving it back to him. So we'll see at the end of the race, see who's better.
All right, brother. I'm going to let you get redialed. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you. As always, I'm going to sneak up here. KR, the 557 on the Ampro Yamaha. How you doing, bud?
Been better.
Ready to race?
I'm ready.
You've been in these situations many times before. What's like the mindset coming into a race today where, hey, we're racing a minimum 2 hours? Is there like a sense of urgency earlier? You don't have that third hour where maybe some guys fall off a little bit.
I don't think there's any more sense of urgency than there already is. I mean, the XC2 guys do have a really big advantage on the first lap, but they're good mud riders too. So once they get there, it's a little bit easier for them to stay there and then shoot. The 250's been working really good in the mud races this year, so I'm on one today.
All right, brother. I'm going to let you get redialed here. Move on. I'm going to move backwards. I'm going to go back over here to Josh. Josh, you and I spoke extensively prior to the dude. You're on the radio right now. You're full-blown XC1 Pro and team manager right now. You're wearing both hats actively on the start.
I'm just trying to stir my boys up over there. I'm not doing anything important, trust me.
That's fair, man. That's fair. Well, we talked a little bit earlier, man. How is the year going? Well, we've got the folks at home on Racer TV. Multiple hats. You just mentioned a third one. You got the role of dad as well, and team manager for this beta team and racing in the XC1 Pro class.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy, let's just say that. So enjoying it, a lot of work, both trying to train and get ready to race this class. Not this class, but even the class behind us, like I said, and then also try and manage the beta off-road team. So it's been a lot of work, but I'm grateful for it, and it is fun. You got to sit back and think about how long I've been doing this, and with an opportunity like that to come up towards the end of my career, it's great.
I love it, man. I'm gonna leave it on that. Let you get redialed. Josh Strang for the beta team. How close are we, Jeremy? 5, 10, 20? Don't know, really. Jordan Ashburn, what's going through your head, man?
Ready to race.
You and us both, dude. Well, we talked a little bit earlier, man, a season, some ups and downs, some injuries you've battled. I would say today the racing circumstances fit Jordan Ashburn's style.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a style, that's for sure. It's very slick, and it's going to be very technical, but, feet out, just doggy paddling along.
You'll do well. Jordan likes the mud, I think I've heard before.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody says, but I don't necessarily love it. It just is what it is.
All right, brother, I'm going to let you get dialed. Thank you. Jordan Ashburn. Stu, what the hell are you wearing?
I wanted to make sure the guys could see me, so we took a green foam finger and threw it on the helmet.
You're like, you've got foam on the chest. I think you've got one of the kids' baby blankets in there.
I do. I've got rags here, in my pants, everywhere. I plan on going down.
I think a lot of you are. And Levi Baylor got a future in graphics as well.
Yeah, he said there's no way that he can be a dirt bike racer if he doesn't have his own stickers. So we got his own stickers.
He's not wrong, man. All right, Stu, let's get serious, man. Season of some ups and downs for you. Can you get back to the winning ways of Talladega today?
Yeah, man, I hope so. I mean, obviously last race, I felt like that was the race I had in the bag there. Last year I did well and kind of followed suit. I was finding my own there on lap 4, finally got a gap. Yeah, just bad luck. So hopefully today we can back it up and get back in the box.
All right, brother, I'm going to let you get redialed. Thank you, Stu Baylor. Ricky Russell. This is a dangerous man. Anytime Ricky has a mustache, I feel like you're podium potential.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Mustache and mullet, we fit right in here in Ohio.
I love it, dude. I love it. Put the Triumph on the box last race for the XC1 class. Just a bit outside for that OA, man. Walk us through that. It had to feel good to get the podium. And I'm not going to say leave a little on the table, but do you feel that way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a huge improvement, like I said before. So I was happy with the improvements and where we were because we were battling for the number 1 spot. Ben had a little gap on us, but then, yeah, me and Caleb were right there battling, and it was for that overall podium spot. So I was bummed I didn't get that overall podium, but still, like I said, I was happy with the improvements.
The Triumph, a proven manufacturer for sure, but maybe not proven at the GNCC level. And, going into this year, you've proved, hey, this belongs.
Yeah, no doubt. The bike's been awesome. We, like any new model, you got to work out a little bit of kinks for the off-road scene, especially when we keep having mutter after mutter after mutter. So we worked those out, and yeah, we're excited for today. No one really knows how long the race is going to be, but it looks nasty out there, and I typically like these conditions as well.
All right, brother, I'm going to let you get dialed. Thank you, Ricky Russell. Appreciate you. And Craig DeLong, he jumped off of the bike, and you're looking at, what are you thinking, bud?
I think I need to do something before I fall asleep.
You and me both. The people at home are probably feeling the same way. I promise we'll get you out there soon, man. How do you get back to Powerline Park, Craig DeLong, 2024 here today?
I don't know. Just we'll figure it out when we get in the woods. I'm ready to go. I like this place. It's close to home, so this dirt I'm used to riding. So yeah, should be good. I'm excited, and yeah, mud's fun.
Mud's fun. All right, don't fall asleep. Be ready. Do I have time to go all the way across there? I swear, Jeremy Holbert, if I bust my ass on Racer TV walking across this start, I'm never going to hear the end of it. I want to be an internet meme. It's going to be terrible. I'm nervous. My goodness. Hey, fellas, what's going on? Ryder Lafferty, all right, I was all the way over there, and you were probably thinking to yourself, I sure as hell hope we get going before Mikey gets all the way down here.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I made it, buddy. We talked a little bit earlier today. How you feeling coming into today?
I feel good. Just another day, another race, and ready to get rolling.
All right, brother. I'm going to let you get to it. Get dialed, Ryder. Have some fun out there today. Liam Draper, how are you, bud?
Good, just hanging out.
Chilling?
Yeah, like Craig, trying not to fall asleep down here.
Can you fall asleep sitting on the bike?
No, I mean, it's too much stuff going through the mind, but it is, feels like we're being here 20 minutes. It feels like a long 5 minutes. I don't know what's taking them so long. It's not that bad out there.
It's not that bad. I think you guys, forget 2 hours. Let's run 4.
Right, exactly.
Let's get serious, man. Podiums, that win. It's like right there, keep flirting with it. Just hasn't quite happened for you yet. Is today the day?
Today, hopefully, is the day. Yeah, a podium or a win would be amazing, but to be on the box would be some good points, I believe.
What was the big change for you? Obviously, you had success. You had a number 1 plate in the XC2, but when you jumped into the XC1, we've talked about it a little bit, even during the broadcast, but we've not really had that in-depth conversation with you. What has made the difference jumping into the XC1 and having that almost instant success?
Yeah, definitely. I just like this 450. I like a bigger bike, and yeah, I think I ride it well. And yeah, the XC1 field's stacked, but I enjoy battling with these boys.
All right, go have some fun today, Liam. Thank you. Appreciate you. Mike Wachowski, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, doing well. Yeah, obviously ready to go racing, but, you know, I think the track's shaping up pretty good.
You're kind of in the same boat. I feel like every time we mention Mike Wachowski, we're mentioning Liam. Every time we mention Liam, we're mentioning Mike. Very similar XC1 careers so far. How do you become that guy to go get that win, maybe before the 198?
Yeah, I think I transitioned to the XC1 class like pretty well and the bigger bike. I like being up on the front row. It's good battling with the guys and kind of learned my way last year, and then this year was sitting good until the last race. Obviously, I had that issue within sight of the leader with a couple laps to go, I think. But it is what it is, and just need to gain some points back and you know, get back after it.
All right, brother. I'm gonna let you get dialed. Good luck out there today. Should I head back over? Are we good? We good? Maybe keep it going. All right, Evan Smith, you're up, dude. How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
You kind of like Jordan Ashburn. We had you in the booth earlier this year, which was awesome, but we much rather see you out here on the track, man. You're back. How you feeling coming into today?
Yeah, dude, feel great. Getting back in the swing of things. These guys got a little head start on me this year, but yeah, I got a couple under my belt, and we got a muddy day in Ohio, and I don't know. This is the kind of stuff I live for.
That's a good thing to hear. Maybe a podium. What's the goal?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm line up every race to win, but I mean, I don't know. This is the kind of day that I enjoy myself. You know, I'd do this even if I, you know, didn't need to be here. Like, I mean, this is just for fun.
Love it. Evan, that's a good one to leave it on. Have some fun out there today. And Grizzly Grant, we got time, baby. We got time. First of all, it's so good to have you back lined up at a GNCC. How are you feeling coming into Ohio here today?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. I've had a lot of really good results here in the past, so I don't know. I think I just gel well with the dirt here, and that's usually a more technical track, and I enjoy the good technical stuff. So, oh, yeah, I'm looking for a good day today. Just struggling with that knee. I was out with a knee surgery there, and just struggling to get that thing back strong. But, yeah, try and keep those feet on the pegs today and keep that thing tight, and, yeah, have a good day.
All right, brother, go have some fun out there. That's the sound of light 'em up, let's go racing. All right, we are about ready to set it off now. So you guys got some bonus coverage there. You kind of see where everybody's head's at in that XC1 Pro class. And now we get the machines warmed up. And all eyes fixate into turn number 1, where Ricky Towery will take the reins of this race. And we go as Ricky goes. We got a thumbs up, safe to race. And we're just about ready now. Ricky Towery steps out onto the track, lets our riders know 1 minute. 1 minute. Until we're ready to go. Kenda, Powerline Park, GNCC Racing. Ricky looks down at his watch, and there it is. Blue flag waves, blue flag waves. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. As we are just about ready to roll now, and boy, Ohio, I gotta ask you, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Oh, that's pretty good, but it is you who survived the elements. It is you who embraced the mud. It is you who has waited for this moment. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds for row number 1, the XC1 Pro. Oh, Stu Baylor out in front, and it will be the 514 out of Hodges, South Carolina, of Stu Baylor, grabbing that Landers KTM Holeshot Award as the XC1 jockey for position back into the woods. And Ricky Towery looks down at his watch, keeps an eye on the time, and we turn our attention now to the XC2 250 Pro class. Landers KTM Holeshot Award up for grabs. Angus Reardon, Josh Toth, Toby Cleveland, Brody Johnson, Nick DeFeo, Hunter Bush, Mike DeLosa, Leighton Small, Dakota DeVore, Jason Liscombe, Grant Davis, and Cody Barnes ready to roll in 10 seconds. Bang, and they're off. And Grant Davis up the inside. Oh, a little contact with Angus Reardon, but it will be the number 1. Grant Davis grabbing that whole shot, an early lead, as well as the Landers KTM Holeshot Award, as we turn our attention now to the XC3 in 10 seconds. Bojack Cycle Sales Holeshot Award up for grabs. James Simpson, Isaiah Brown, Rayleigh Mester, James Jenkins, Huck Jenkins, Christian Evans, Jason Crawford, and Jonathan Johnson. 496 right up the cut. Oh no, that is going to be the 337 of James Jenkins out of House Springs, Missouri, on that Marionville Power Sports backed Yamaha. With the early lead, little bit of carnage just after the second turn. 10 seconds. 258. Van Adams, Colton Shields, Cooper Jones, Ryan Piper, Gavin Simon, Chase Landers, Collier Martinez, Will Siebenpiper, Caleb Baltimore, Holeshot. That is the 254 of Chase Landers. Lane Whitmer out there, as well as Hunter Smith and Joe Cunningham. Open A coming up next. 10 seconds. Samuel Evans, Kiefer Galliano, TJ Brown, Jonathan McMillan, Ty Ely, Brian Puskas, Trevor Hewlin, Randy Smith, Caleb Slagle, Devin Cocker, Landon Trippin, Sean Myers, Daniel Ryan. Holeshot's going to go to the 518 of Cole Whitmer, a Holeshot machine. Keenan Rupp, Matt Reimer, and Hayden Jones out there as well as they battle around the second turn. Turn our attention to the four-stroke A lights. 25 riders in total. 10 seconds. Joshua Connor, Logan Pellegrini, Brady Beerbaum, Ryan Amancio, Bryce Woodrum, Braden Baisley, Cian Connery, Tyler Shields, Tucker Kenry, Rivers Morris, Keegan Needler. Holeshot 717 on the machine. That is going to be Owen Barnes out of Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And some trouble for the 360. As we reset Junior A, 25 plus. 10 seconds. Russell Smith, Luke Ross, Cope Beckert, Shane Wicker, Cooper Fisher, Caleb Hagan, Joshua Thok, Peyton Harden, Corey Jordan, and Andrew Boggs. Through the first turn we go. The 255 on the machine. That's going to be Russell Smith out of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, on that Tri-State Power Sports back ride, grabbing that Holeshot and early lead. 10 seconds. A 30 plus. Corey Armstrong, Michael Jarosco, Anthony Burbick, Danny Hoff, and Gregory Funk. Who's got the funk? Gregory's got the funk. Around the first turn we go. Little dab, another dab. Doesn't matter. 145. Michael Jarosco out of Fairmont, West by God, Virginia. Gonna grab that Holeshot and early lead as we turn our attention now to the 150A class. Jarosco with some trouble Right after the whole shot, gonna have some time to make up now. 10 seconds. 150A, Michael Meyer, Lucas Rubenstein, Colby Goodman, Jack Whalen, Davin Scheich, Luke Newton, Ryder Segedy, Cade Stats, Easton Uplinger, Arson Bogner, Joe Schreiber, and Braden Hashman. And the 4-3-1. That's going to be Ryder Segedy out of New Jersey on that Kenda Moose and Factory Connection back Yamaha. Driving that whole shot. 10 seconds. Senior A, 40 plus. Frank Messina, Pete Petrucci, Fernando Pino, Joe Marsh, Miguez Gomez, Miss Leno Batista, Sean Jackson, James Bauer, and Darren Darmos. Little dab right there. Oh, that was, maybe, man, looked like 3-4-5, maybe 3-6-5. Don't want to give the wrong guy credit, but it was tight. Three-way battle for the whole shot. 10 seconds. Open B, Nate Harrison, Cody Harding, Samuel Oyster, Blake Freiberger, Keaton Storms, Caden Annan, Mark Cole, Davey Salza, excuse me. Colton Painter, Jamison Bulliard, Luke Thurfield, Logan Reniger, and the 4-2-7 of Caden Annan going to grab the whole shot with Colton Cybulski, the 9-4-5 out there as well. 250B. 10 seconds. Devin Moore, Lennox Riley, Braden Bailey, Jamison Hanlon, Jacob Blakely, Brandon Slotzer, Dylan McDonald, Michael Sturek, Gage Clayton, Mason Kelly, Colin Pill, Gabriel Davis, Philip Likens, and Mason Sakanikis. 405 on the machine. It's going to be the 410 on the helmet. That's Michael Sturek out of Montverde, Florida. There's no way I got Montverde, Florida correct. 10 seconds. 150B, Nico Pursuti, Levi Wilkins, Isaac Leitner, Charlie Simpson, Julian Loy, and Michael Wojnarowski. 3-5-6. Oh, look at that. On the outside line, paying off early, but it gets a little sideways. Ooh, that might have gone to Nico Pursuti right there on the last second. Maybe by the wheel link. By a knobby. That close, baby. Here we go. 4-stroke B lights. Wait on the signal from Ricky Towery. 10 seconds. Joseph Shalott, Carlo Cleary, Maddox Moretz, Colton Barber, Ryan Glassmeyer, Dio Bridgewater, Matt Gray, Owen James, Matthew Flannelly, Preston Horton, Cameron Dodge, and Spencer Knight. And the 3-3-4 of Carlo Cleary out of Pennsylvania on that Podium Works and Mobile Fleet Wash backed gas. Grabbing that whole shot, an early lead. Steady as she goes around the turn number 2. 10 seconds. Bet B, 30 plus. Joseph Ward, Cody Johnson, Nick Levy, John King, Nick Wright, Doug Hughes, Tommy Myers, Kenneth Saliga, William Schumacher, Matthew Carter, Richard Moore, and Dylan Davis. Around the first turn we go, the 408. Hey, put a little hot sauce on it right there, Joe King. I like it. Talmadge, Ohio rider on the KTM, grabbing a whole shot in the home state. 10 seconds. Senior B, 40 plus. Larry Hopper, Brendan Hagan, Brandon Black, Aaron McAfee, Nathan Welch, and Jeremy Nance. On the bike. Ooh, little dab right there, but the 1-4-2 of Aaron McAfee going to hang on to that one on that Wayne Cycles back ride. Junior B, 25 plus, 10 seconds. Zach Cummins, Trevor Weber, Aaron Good, Joey Leonard, Chadwick Thompson, Devin Hall, Sean Cochran, Hunter Purdue, Judson Bogus, Quentin Clark, Austin Balaska, Zach Weaver, Walker Hashman, Billy Saliga. 434 on the whole shot. That's going to be Hunter Purdue. Alex Stoner out there as well. Everybody is off the start, and we are rolling after a wee bit of a delay. It is going to be a 2-hour minimum race here this afternoon. It was Stu Baylor grabbing that Landers KTM Whole Shot Award
on the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Racing Team Green Kawasaki. Can he hang on and grab another win here in 2025? How is it all going to sort out? We're going to take a short break, get in a word from our sponsors, and be back with more from the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too.
That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? I don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The Wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank.
Hey!
Hey! Brought my +1. Jamie.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call tonight. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 50th Annual Progressive Insurance Grand National Cross Country Racing Series. This is round 6 of the 2025 series, the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC. My name is Jackson Burrell. I'm going to be alongside Johnny G and Zach Heron, along with Mikey Waynes, to bring you today's action. Boys, it's another rainy day here in Ohio.
Yeah, no, the conditions have not changed from Saturday to Sunday like we've seen before. Super slimy, super thick, and Johnny, you were just talking about it. It's absolute survival out there.
I'd like to take exception to the conditions haven't changed. They've gotten worse. It is no longer raining here today, folks. It's starting to dry up a little bit, but that actually just means heavy mud, and it's going to be a challenge for these guys out there today.
It's going to be exciting to see how things close out, but let's show you how they started out with our specialized start recap. We'll start off with our XC1 Pro class. and it was a drag race. You see the two groups of riders, some going up the inside, others the outside, but it was the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Kawasaki of Stu Baylor with a pretty dominant hole shot. Hit those brakes early, hugged that inside, and was able to maintain control of the lead. Look at that, waving to him as he checked out up front. Meanwhile, the Ampro Yamaha of Liam Draper in the number 2 spot. Mike Wachowski making some moves in that second turn as well behind Caleb Russell. Now take a look at the XC2 Pro start, and this guy just keeps doing it over and over again. Grant Davis, a picture-perfect start. Drag race, but look at this, the teammate, Gus Reardon, up the inside, giving a little bump to both Grant and Cody Barnes. Meanwhile, it looked like that was Nick DeFeo possibly making some moves up the inside on the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Kawasaki as well. You see him on the right side of your screen. A little look over, a drag race up that hill, super steep inclines, a lot of off-cambers here today as well. Going to be fun to watch. Of course, we can't forget our XC3 125 Pro-Am class as well. One of my favorite sounding and smelling classes out on track. The two strokes were wide open going up the hill, sliding into turn 1, but cut back underneath, and it would be James Jenkins getting credited with the hole shot. Didn't hold on to it for long, though. Went a little wide, and then chaos started to ensue. We saw plenty of that in our other classes as they took off as well. So do think James regained the lead. Look at that carnage all over the place. So Jenkins does lead them into the woods, and he's got that Lojax Cycles check waiting on him as well. Here is a flash forward to your leaders. Stu Baylor still maintaining that lead out front. And looking like maybe that wave goodbye was worth it as he's opened up a little bit of time over Liam Draper. Looks like that is Mike Wachowski in the number 3 sprint. Oh, that is Ashburn. Yeah, Ashburn made some pass. Then Wachowski.
Yeah.
It looks like they've gotten around Caleb Russell. Josh Strang going by.
And I believe possibly Evan Smith on that Ampro Yamaha. This should be Caleb Russell now making his way.
That's actually Evan Smith.
Oh, that's Evan Smith there. Yeah. So maybe that is Russell.
And Ben Kelly last going into the woods. He has gotten around the Rockstar Energy Husky of Craig DeLong. So Ben Kelly got a little bit of work out in front of him. But the foam man himself, Stu Baylor, trying to keep that foam clean out front for now. Liam Draper just behind. Jordan making some quick moves on that flat rock gas in the Phoenix Honda of Mike Wachowski. That is Caleb Russell. Then Josh Strang making his way through.
Ryder Lafferty.
Grant Baylor, excuse me.
Evan Smith.
There's Evan Smith and Ricky Russell just behind him. Ben Kelly, Craig DeLong. And I just was curious what the gap would have been, how long it would have been until we started to see those XC2 leaders. We know that's the game plan. Catch up to the back of the XC1 field as quick as possible. Johnny, take us through this Yamaha racing track map, what we have in store today.
Yeah, it's actually, as it was laid out, it was along 14 miles coming into today. We do know that has kind of been fluid, been changing, obviously, with the conditions. A lot of sections have had to be modified, altered, removed altogether. But I'll tell you one thing, ruts are going to be the story of the day, and where it's not rutted, it's hard-packed slick. This Southern Ohio clay is like nothing else anywhere on earth. It is so slick. You see those guys just kind of tiptoeing their way through. You just don't have a lot of grip. You don't have a lot of confidence. You got to be real easy and deliberate with the throttle application. And this track is going to truly be the biggest challenge these guys face possibly this year. It's going to be a tough one out there today.
Yeah, we've heard from all of our riders saying essentially this is by far and away the worst motor that they've seen so far. I think Josh Strang said you take Talladega and Big Buck together and it still wouldn't be as bad as this. But like you mentioned, some of these areas being modified, being cut as well. So you'll see that on our Racer TV broadcast. Some quick turnaround. How did they get from this mile to this mile? That's more just the mile marker out on track.
Yep, and keep in mind, folks, we have a 14.2 mile track length as it was laid out on Thursday. So these mile markers that you're going to see on screen, those are our camera shots. The mile markers that you may see hanging on the trees, those are kind of relative right now. You know, the 3 may actually be the 1.5, the 14 may be the 9. It's this whole track has had to be reconfigured to make what is truly a raceable racetrack for these guys. We don't want it to turn into a thing where everybody's just sitting in bottlenecks all day long. While they didn't necessarily make the track easier, they just made it raceable, and it'll be kind of fluid as we go throughout the day.
Now we take a look at our Rocky Mountain ATV MC points standings, and Jackson, Ben Kelly out front, but it has all been, I feel like all the talk has honestly been about Grant Davis so far this season. The statement early and the consistency putting that XC2 machine on the overall podium.
Yeah, Davis has been here each and every race. Right now only sitting 11 points back. Then Angus Reardon going to be just behind him, sitting about 22 points back in that third-place spot. Caleb Russell, Cody Barnes going to be your top 5 here in these series championship point standings.
It's so funny. Thinking about earlier this season, Caleb Russell being second in the XC1 points, you think would be a bit more of a talking point, right? Caleb, like we said, coming back from retirement, working through some things as well. He's been open on the podium about his comfort growing more and more. I think this is a bit of a slow burn, but it is a burn in the right direction for Caleb Russell. I think might see something here from him today.
Yeah, it's definitely been a slow burn, and, I think the hype around him coming back, so many people put some expectations of, come back, win right away. Couldn't exactly tell who that was.
Stu,
okay.
Yep.
So if we think that was Stu, that was likely our leader here at the 10-mile marker. Then it is the 198 of Draper in second, but look at this. Jordan Ashburn already starting to put the pressure on. Let's just get right to it, folks. Jordan likes the mud. We know he likes the mud. He does well in these conditions. He does well in all conditions, but a little bit extra smile on the face of Jordan Ashburn today. Now, actually, Josh Strang has made some moves up into the number 4 spot, followed by possibly Witkowski. It was kind of hard to tell who that was. And then there is Caleb Russell. So that is 4th, 5th, and 6th as they run on the racetrack. Then here comes Grant Baylor in 7th. Ben Kelly in 8th. Oh, sorry, that was Ben Kelly. I guess Ricky Russell actually got around Ben Kelly. So that is 8th and 9th. And then here comes Evan Smith and Craig DeLong, as well as, there is your XC2 boys. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the same order they left. Interesting. I was going to point that out. So basically your top 5, not leaving anybody out, but your top 5 heavy hitters in XC2, Grant Davis, Angus Reardon, Josh Toth, Nick DeFeo, and Cody Barnes were the top 5 off the start going into the woods, and you can see they're literally flying in formation. They've now caught the back of the XC1 class, and we don't even need to start talking about corrected time. The scoring software is going to do that for us here in a matter of about another 10 minutes.
Yeah, the XC2 boys putting in a solid run. Good to see Josh Toth back racing with us after going down pretty hard, was spitting up some blood. I think bruised, possibly broke some ribs. It's always hard to tell. These guys are absolute animals out here. But another thing worth noting, our reigning champ, Johnny Gerard, not with us this weekend. And unfortunately, now we do want to clarify, this is not due to the concussion. Talked to the team a little bit earlier, and it's now out that Johnny Gerard, suffering from the Epstein-Barr virus, comes from overtraining, depleting the body, and it just shows how hard these guys work, not only here on Sundays during the race day, but the amount of effort it takes day after day throughout the week. I've seen Johnny riding at our local North Carolina tracks. He is motoing down the entire time. There's no breaks, and that takes a toll on the body.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough, especially. You can see very different lines here. Liam Draper squaring that up, going to the inside, and Jordan Ashburn trying something different around the outside. Both those guys trying to track down Stu Baylor out front. But to your point there, I think this becomes a thing where obviously Johnny was having some issues with the concussion, obviously pulled out of our previous race back at Camp Coker, ultimately not racing the last race. And then now with the additional complications of the Epstein-Barr virus, it's just a thing. You hate to say it, but at this point, I think we can say Johnny is officially likely out of the 2025 championship hunt, which means that you do what's best for you, you get yourself healthy, and this is a guy that has a long, bright career ahead of him. So the team, himself, his family making the right decision and saying, hey, we're going to get back to 100% healthy and recovered before we're ready to go back to the racetrack and fight for wins.
Yeah, tough break there for our defending champion, Gerard, but Stu Baylor made his way through this section on our Yamaha Racing live drone. There goes the Yamaha racer now, Liam Draper, in that second place spot. Still, so far, able to hold off Ashburn.
Yep. Jordan Ashburn looking like he wants a piece of that second place position, but right now Liam Draper looking very solid, and you can see how much this track is already running up. Keep in mind, folks, we've already had obviously 3, 4, 5 races yesterday, plus an additional 2 races already this morning with the youth race at 8 a.m. and then also our morning bike race. So it's already some ruts broken. You can see here at the 13-mile marker. This is a section people were talking about if they were going to reroute because it is so challenging. If you look at this, fighting for the same rut, and Jordan Ashburn makes the pass.
Wow, that was a beautiful pass made by Jordan Ashburn, just barely around the outside, and we'll see a lot of that too, just a few inches to the left or to the right. It can completely change the direction that you're going, and a lot of these ruts very long and continuous as well, so one bad decision could cost you big.
Great run so far for the number 7, Josh Strang, on that factory liquid moly beta, and Dennett Lafferty, maybe? It was hard to tell. It's definitely Caleb Russell behind him, but I thought Yeah, maybe it is Lafferty. And then we see Grant Baylor coming through there.
Making up some time, too.
Yeah, he's on the charge for sure. There is the 212 of Russell and the 530 of Kelly. Those two still connected together just like they were at camera shot ago. Ricky Russell able to make the pass. Smith, and now here comes the big green number 1 of Grant Davis with Craig DeLong, Gus Reardon, Josh Toth, and now Cody Barnes has gotten around the 246 of Nick DeFeo. So that is your top 5 in XC2, all in touch with the tail end of the XC1 pack.
Wow. The question was how long it was going to take, but I don't think we anticipated quite that many. But we have seen all of those riders we just saw up in the top 3s on the overall charts multiple times throughout this year. So it was just a matter of time before we got the full pack.
Yeah, no doubt, and this is the perfect condition for those XC2 riders. We've saw it time and time again here this year. Once the rain comes, those XC2 riders really come out to play, and we could see in that last camera shot and this one right here just how deep and rough this track is getting here today. Something we talked about a little bit yesterday. It was raining yesterday. Today, a different story. It has not been raining much. The sun has been out, and it is getting very sticky and tacky out there.
Yeah, it's starting to tack up, which is a good thing for the grip, but it's a bad thing because the bikes get heavier. It gets, oh, who do we got on screen here? The 213 of Toby Cleveland struggling in our section here at the 13-mile marker. One of our XC2 riders looks like he has possibly Mikey DeLosa right behind him there. So definitely already hitting the deck. You know, we'll see a lot of that today. Riders picking up bikes, whether it's lapped riders or even our leaders. Again, so slick. The one thing I think in regards, you know, we've broke this down so many different ways. The XC2 guys, they're possibly their biggest advantage today is figuring out which of the lines are working. They can just look ahead and see where those riders have been going, but also, especially on this first lap, if you watched off the start, you know, that was a small example right there. All these ruts, because it's been 2 hours since anybody's been out on this racetrack by the time they got it cleared, all the water runs back in and fills the ruts, and as the riders come, they splash it out so you can see which ruts are deep and which ones are shallow. A lot of times, if you're just looking at 4, 5, 6 ruts and they're all full of water, you don't really know which one you're going to choose. The XC1 guys definitely at a disadvantage there. Off the start, I was watching those guys come through that lower section, and they hit 3, 4 ruts wide, and it was crazy. There was just a wall of water 8 feet in the air, all of their goggles trashed. The XC2 guys definitely a benefactor in that situation. The track a little more established, and they're able to carry a little bit more speed, but not taking anything away from those guys. They've been doing it in all the conditions this year. Dusty, muddy, doesn't matter. They're up there, and they're running with these XC1 boys.
Yeah, the standing water was something I was going to bring up as well, because that was kind of the talk of those youth podiums this morning. And then, Jackson, I know you did our WXC podium as well. It seemed like that was kind of a talking factor as well, but you can see I didn't expect that rut to be that deep right there. Perfect example. It kind of seemed like it had been cleared out some, and so we've seen another perfect example earlier today. Cross-rutting. It can happen. You think you're lined up perfectly, and then all of a sudden you're sideways before you know it. And it's kind of hard to recover in these conditions as well when you do get kicked to the side.
Yeah, getting kicked to the side, obviously, as you said, cross-rutting. I mean, that can be a real challenge trying to keep yourself even just upright in these conditions, but especially as again, we kind of talked about off camera here. As it dries up, the race surface, we put that in quotation marks, is going to get better, but it's going to typically turn out to be like one main race line. Anything outside of that, so if you're trying to make a pass or if you just meander off that main line just a little bit, it's like grease on glass out there. It is so slick. Here we see now Draper and Ashburn. So Draper able to latch onto the back of Ashburn after Ashburn made the pass, and you can see it looks like they started to close up the gap a little bit. I don't know if you guys caught it as we were cutting away there. It looked like Stu struggled a little bit, maybe going the wrong way.
I think he thought the exit of the track, because all those ruts were built in, was the way to go.
Obviously a change with our afternoon race here. They do come through the pro pits. The rest of the races do not, so a little confusion there, but only costing him a few seconds. But it breathes life back into Jordan Ashburn and Liam Draper, because now they can look up, see him there, and say, okay, we're making ground on him. They're surely going to try to run him down.
So watching the Ampro Yamaha of Liam Draper try to chase down that Flat Rock Motor Club gas of Jordan Ashburn, and you see the patience even right there. Perfect example. These guys are so careful about where they're putting it, and that's a luxury that the XC2 has that they don't. They don't quite have to hesitate as much. They can follow along and see what lines have already been established.
Well, and the other thing, too, like especially in that section of racetrack that hadn't been ridden, and keep in mind, we don't have a camera out there because of the conditions, but there's a 2-mile bike, PM bike only section that is brand new. All of that stuff, there's no line broken in yet, and it's incredibly challenging for the XC1 guys to try not to lose it, you know, and push the front end or have the back end slide out. Even just 5, 6, 7 bikes coming through can actually start to establish a dried up rut or line, and then you can just carry more speed. Those S-turns that we just watched, next lap, we're going to see those guys coming through there at about twice that speed because they're going to have something to bank off of, and they're going to kind of know the established line.
Looked like Ben Kelly there making a stop at the KTM factory pits.
Looked like possibly a radiator rinse out to me, and that's, you know, good forethought for him. He's had to make a lot of passes already. He's a little further back in the pack than he likely wants to be. Wants to keep that Red Bull FMF KTM alive, keep the radiators clean. That's a good way to keep the bikes running.
Yeah, the survival that we keep talking about is not just the rider. It's the machines as much as anything, especially with the standing water, this slimy type mud. It can wreak havoc on a bike over the course of a minimum of 2 hours.
Yeah, it is Ryder Lafferty. Or no, I'm sorry. Is that no? It's not Wachowski because he's not wearing a Camelback.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's got to be Ryder Lafferty there in the number would be 5 spot. And then here comes Grant Baylor, Caleb Russell 6th, and Grant Baylor 7th. Ricky Russell.
Yep.
Tiptoeing again. That just shows just how slick this section is. Ben Kelly didn't lose a whole lot of time there with that radiator rinse out. He was right behind Ricky Russell in the previous camera shot, and he's still back there just a couple seconds back. Then it's, whoa, Cody Barnes to the front now.
Then Toth.
Davis.
There is Davis, and you can see the painted side of that moose gear. Davis finding the ground, apparently.
Yep. So Cody Barnes, your new XC2 leader. Not sure if that was the case when they checked in, but let's go ahead and take a look. Actually, Josh Toth was a leader when they checked in, and dun-dun-dun-dun, yes, he is your overall leader. With an elapsed time of 27 minutes and 17 seconds, that puts him 8 seconds ahead of Stu Baylor on corrected time. Second place in the overall, Cody Barnes, also second in that XC2. And then Grant Davis, 4th place in the overall. And again, he was about 13 seconds behind Josh Toth when they checked in. So Toth already has gotten himself an overall from that XC2 class last year. And, you know, already had some really good runs already this year. He's currently your overall leader.
Toth about 5 seconds faster that lap around than Stu Baylor. Toth turning a 27.17, going to be the fastest lap time, obviously, of anybody out on the course.
Yeah, great shot right there on our screen, showing all of the differences, and just a couple of seconds here and there can add up so much. Even those little off-camera sections where they're just, it's not even hesitation. They've just got to take the time to process all the different line options now as they head back up the hill. That's another thing. We missed our Yamaha Racing live drone yesterday, but it just doesn't quite show the steepness of these hills.
Yeah, it does not.
And looking back through, now we've got some of our, we've talked about this, we've got some of our A riders checking in. You can see Gavin Simon there in the 6th place overall spot out of that 258 class, followed pretty closely by Chase Landers in second, only 6.8 seconds behind him. So you've got 2 A riders in the top 10, and 3 if you go back to Cole Whitmer out of that Open A class there in 19th overall. So you've got 3 overall amateur riders inside the top 20 overall on lap 1. Those guys are absolutely on the pipe.
And you can see just how hard packed it is. It's not just the deep ruts, but underneath it's got that hard base. We saw Stu Baylor walking around earlier watching his teammate Rachel Archer in that WXC class, and we asked, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down. He said, it's got a hard base. He's like, so it's just going to be super slick. Talking about maybe even using some of that thick stuff as well as the race goes on, but it's a tightrope to walk between getting too far into it.
One thing I thought was interesting, you know, on Saturdays we talk about the tire selection in terms of size. There's smalls, there's bigs, there's in between. On Sundays, lately, it's been almost like a supercross race of, do you run the scoop? Obviously, the scoop, considered a mud tire or a sand tire, was surprised. It was a pretty interesting mix on the starting line for the XC1 guys. Expected to see more scoop tires, and Stu Baylor, normally a big fan of that scoop tire, not running it.
Wow.
So he had I don't know what, if I had to guess, it was like what Pirelli's version of an intermediate terrain tire would be. And I think if I just had to kind of speculate, I think that hard pack is what you're talking about. That MX-14, not the greatest on a polished hard pack Ohio clay, but a lot of guys, I know Liam Draper running it. I saw Craig DeLong was running it. Ben Kelly was not. Caleb Russell was not. So it was an interesting mix of less scoops than I was expecting.
Yeah, I actually got to talk to Rob Fox there with Dunlop, and that's what he was saying, that there was some of them that were running the 14s. He said he didn't know with that hard pack. He said he didn't think that was going to be the way to go either. Probably go for one of the more traditional tires, like a 34. Here we've got a pile up.
Oh boy.
hanging out at the FMF PowerPoint 9-mile mark, and unfortunately this you can just see bike standing by itself. That's all you need to see as far as getting an idea.
Well, and this is really going to factor into our overall race here, because, you know, these guys they're already going to start hitting lappers here on lap number 2, and some of these sections have very limited lines because of how off-camber and kind of closed in this track is with all the ledges. And you can see he's waving the cameraman, come down and help me. Cameraman's like, hey, I'm doing my job up here. I got to run this camera and document the chaos. But you can see some people are down in there helping, but it's literally just wheel-to-wheel lapped riders, or soon-to-be lapped riders, through that section. And now back to the front, Stu Baylor, the 514 machine on that Red Bear Rocky Mountain ATV MC Kawasaki, leading the way, your physical leader, sitting in 3rd place in the overall after corrected time. And it looks like he has again opened it back up over the Flat Rock Gas of Jordan Ashburn.
There you see Ashburn right on cue. And to your point, Stu definitely continues to open that gap up, but it doesn't look like he's doing anything exceptional as far as we've seen him hanging out before, you know, feet off the pegs. He seems to be just kind of hitting his marks. Ashburn, not quite as much of a sense of urgency either, and then Liam Draper still hanging tough just behind Ashburn.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm pretty impressed with Stu Baylor to only be 8 seconds out of the physical overall. Look at this. Caleb Russell making moves now up to the number 4 spot. Has gotten around Josh Strang. Has gotten around Ryder Lafferty. And looking like he's starting to push the pace a bit. Then here comes Lafferty now, also getting around Strang. So a shout out to Ryder Lafferty on that. I don't know his official team name, but I believe it's Matto Cycle Honda, if I'm not mistaken. Then it's Josh Strang. And then Grant Davis, as Jackson pointed out, he was the rider that really looked like he was charging in that last camera shot. He is now caught up to Josh Strang and Ricky Russell and Ben Kelly coming with him.
Yeah, Grant Baylor making his return back to racing. What you seeing, Johnny?
Cody Barnes. There is your... Oh, and look at this. Grant Davis has already made moves from our last camera shot back up to 2nd. There is Gus Reardon. So they've both gotten around. I believe Josh Toth was missing from the running order, and there he is. So Josh Toth and Nick DeFeo dropping back just a little bit, but they can still see the top 3 just ahead of them in that XC2 Pro Lights class. Finishing up that thought about Stu Baylor, though, I think for this first lap, the pace that he ran was very impressive, that especially with Grant Davis, a rider we know is going to sprint. He was in the lead from the get-go. The fact that, and obviously we know Grant had a crash most likely somewhere, and it was actually Josh Toth that was the fastest XC2 rider to complete that lap. But all the way up until the last camera shot, Grant Davis was leading, and they were only able to get Stu by 8 seconds on that first lap. That's impressive for Stu, and that does not bode well for the competition, because he's going to continue to get faster. We've seen so many times as the race wears on, that's where he gets the time back on those XC2 guys. So instead of having 2 minutes like at Talladega he had, right now he's only got 8 seconds he's got to make up.
Well, he's made it through the mile 4 mark now. Here comes Jordan Ashburn.
Seemed like Ashburn was a little closer.
Yeah, he has made up some ground. Just like you were saying, Johnny, he's doing it right now. Here goes the 198 Yamaha machine. Holding solid in that 3rd place position, Liam Draper.
Did a bit of a gap.
So waiting, and here we go. Man, Russell carrying some speed now.
Looking like he's about 16 seconds behind Draper, which it looks like he may have made up a little time, because at the completion of lap number 1, he was near 50 seconds behind Stu Baylor back there in that 13th place spot on the corrected time, currently sitting in 4th physically on the racetrack now. And here comes Ryder Lafferty and Jackson. Thank you for pointing out. We'll give his sponsors a shout out. I should have looked at our cheat sheet. The Bicon Services JDP Moose Off-Road Honda. A lot of people helping Ryder get to the races with a very privateer supported effort, and he's out there killing it right now, running in the 5th place spot physically on the racetrack.
Look at that. Ben Kelly starting to look a lot more racy as he's now caught up to Grant Baylor. There goes our XC2 class making their way through.
Whoa, big kick there for Davis.
Was it me, or did it look like Grant Davis didn't have goggles on already?
I didn't see.
There is Toth.
Toth gotten around Reardon.
Yep.
I have to, Johnny, next time they come through this section, do you imagine they're going to still be using that line right there?
Man, it's tough. Racing in conditions like this is always a constant running calculation in your head. Obviously, the established line, provided it's not a low-lying section of the racetrack that you think is going to blow out and get super deep, you know, it's the safe line per se. But when you start to get into lappers and the new lines start opening up, are you missing out on some better lines? Like, if you don't have anybody to race with and you're not able to see kind of the progress of, is the line I'm using faster? Oh, Brody Johnson, good ride for him in the number, would that be 6 spot in that XC2 class as he works his way around Evan Smith out of that XC1 class. Some sections, it's going to be much better to stick with the main line. Other sections, you're going to want to kind of keep moving around and find. It's not on a day like today. You're not looking for shorter lines. You're looking for lines with better dirt, a better rut, or less obstacles. And man, guys, this is the tail of the race right now. Look at our warriors out here.
Yeah, getting it done. Saw Toby Cleveland making his way by. I want to give a shout out to Jason Lipscomb there. That was who we saw earlier on Racer TV, just behind Cleveland there. So shout out to him. And now that's Cleveland right on time, making his way through this mile 4.
Toby Cleveland, a rider that obviously had a lot of success at the end of 2024, winning the XC2 class at our Ironman GNCC. Yet to kind of replicate, you can see how tough that, and that's another factor there. Look at those roots coming into that rut. If you take the very outside, it's so easy to wash the front, find yourself. The key to today is vision, gloves, keep being able to hold on to those grips. You want to avoid, how many guys did we see on the ground in the first couple corners? When you have to pick up that machine or you go sliding with your hands down, it just becomes so hard to hang on to the grips, and it just really makes an already challenging day that much harder.
Yeah, no doubt. Not only your hands, but the seat, it gets covered in mud. Everything gets covered in mud, and you completely lose that grip.
And it's interesting to see, we talked about the continuous rut as far as you watch where these riders are going. They pretty much get stuck in that one rut, and even at the last second, if they don't want to hit that log, you're along for the ride now at this point.
Yeah, look at on screen here. You'll see that rut goes to the outside, and it's going to shoot these riders back into this outside of the other corner, just completely. No way to get out of that rut. That's going to be the tell of the tape this whole track as well, as you can see right there.
I think that may be our XC3 leader, unless we've already had somebody come through. I didn't see anybody, and that is Jonathan Johnson. Second race in that class, winning the first round. Said the first time he rode the bike was when he went to the starting line at Old Gray, able to grab the win. A former class champion in that class. And there is JoJo Cunningham, one of our top amateur riders. We did see Gavin Simon already coming through there. There's Michael Delos out of that XC2 class. So Cunningham, wow, he was pretty far back on lap number 1. Yeah, he was all the way back in the 27th place spot overall. And looking at the riders that he's battling with now, he has definitely displaced a lot of those riders. So keep an eye on the number 501 Phoenix Racing Honda. We know he's already had a top 5 in conditions like this earlier in the year. Right now he's on the move, but he's got a lot of catching up to do if he wants to get up to the riders ahead of him, namely Chase Landers, obviously all the way up there in the number 6 spot overall. Gavin Simon leading the way out of Bennington, Vermont in that 258 class.
So right now our eyes in the sky watching our second and third place here, Ashburn and Draper out of our XC1 class.
Making their way through. This is one of the faster sections, opening up just a little bit, but you could see, Jackson, 2, maybe 3, but super long ruts. I mean, you're along for that ride for, quarter mile maybe at that point, and it leads right into these switchback corners as well, and still a little bit of standing water in some of them, and you see some of these riders moving just to the edges of these main lines.
Yeah, going to be interested to see how many lines they're able to open up throughout this one. I believe around 250 riders going to be out on the track right now.
And I believe it was 320 or 330 in the morning race, which, we see races sometimes where the morning will get up 750, almost at Ironman 1,000. But in conditions like this, on a track like this, even just a few hundred riders, we have already seen at the 9-mile mark where these guys are going to be coming up on bottlenecks.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And Johnny, 300 people took off in that race. I can almost guarantee you, I don't think even 200 of them would have made it to the finish line for lap 1 complete. So that just shows how tough it is out there today.
Yeah, and I don't know if we mentioned the race length, but there has been discussion about just how long the race is going to go today due to the conditions, due to the shortened track. The discussion before the race, we won't speak until we get official word.
This is official, is a 2-hour minimum.
Yes, but they had mentioned they're shooting for 4 laps. They believe that will make a 2-hour minimum, but as long as it's 2 hours, they're going to cut it at 4 laps. If they're at an hour 50 at 4 laps, they're going to go 1 more. And now that we've seen first lap, which should be the shortest, most likely 27 minutes, I think we're probably likely going to be a 4-lap race. We'll see how the race shakes out and if any course changes need to be made during the course of the event. But yes, normally 180 minutes, 3 hours is the target length for these races. In conditions like this, to save machines, and just to keep a raceable track, they did make the decision 2-hour minimum, and we'll see what it works out.
Man, and you can see just how challenging it is maneuvering around, riders falling. We had some riders falling over on the podium even, couldn't get the bike to stay up, trying to turn things around and slipped. And so it just goes to show you can never ease up. Talk about how exhausting these conditions can be as well. The bikes are unpredictable where you're going to go. You're running through standing water. There's a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers involved with riding in these conditions.
Yeah, and anybody that's racing them knows just how hard when you're positioned like that, trying to pick up those machines, you're already gave out, you're already tired. That just makes things 100 times harder.
Guys, just for fun here, put yourself in this race. Okay, you're not in the booth here. We're not calling the race. You come, you're going to run this race.
Okay.
How many laps do you think you get in 2 hours on this racetrack?
If I did one, I think I would be. I could hang my hat on that.
Zach?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, if I could just get around.
If I did one, I wouldn't even try for a second. I don't care if I somehow managed to do it in 45 minutes. I would. Mikey Waynes, folks, just steps into the booth and says, I'm pulling off after the first turn. Guys, I don't think we can put into words and express that. Okay, that is Stu Baylor. I was like, is that not Stu? Stu Baylor still leading the way, but look at this. The flat rock gas of Jordan Ashburn has reeled in Stu Baylor. He can see him just ahead of him. He's got the hook in him, and he's starting to reel him in even more. What a charge out of Jordan Ashburn. They have now pulled away from the third place ride of the 198, the Ampro Yamaha of Liam Draper. Again, guys, these conditions, the TV does not do it justice. Even being here on the side of the track, if you went out there and tried to walk across this track right now, it is incredibly challenging with how slick it is, let alone riding a dirt bike on it. Liam Draper now in the number 3 spot, right up the middle, around that rider who I think that is still the same rider that was stuck a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
that shows how hard it is.
Having a tough day. We need our Alex guy from yesterday. If he could lift a quad, he could probably lift 2 bikes at once today.
There is Draper in the number 3 spot.
And the fight is on up there between our top two.
Yeah, it seemed like Draper was really trying to keep Ashburn in eyesight and lost touch, and now he's slowed down just a little bit. Watching Stu Baylor.
That last rider was just paddling up that hill, and Stu Baylor went by him like he was sitting still because he almost was. Again, the conditions just so challenging. Can't say enough about it. He's trying to run, but oh, look at this. A little bit different line from the 557 of Russell. That is your 4th place rider on screen. Trying to chip away, has lost some ground to Liam Draper in the last couple miles, still sitting in that number 4 spot. And we look back behind him, and we should find, looks like Ricky Russell around the outside, but Josh Strang is going to beat him to it. So that is 5th and 6th, as well as Cody Barnes now has gotten around Ben Kelly and actually started to open up a gap over. There is Grant Baylor. There's Craig DeLong, so he's back around, and Davis does not have goggles on. And now Gus Reardon putting heavy pressure on Grant Davis, trying to wrestle away that number 2 spot in the XC2.
Threading the needle there, Gus Reardon.
Josh Toth now coming. And just behind him, the 246, his teammate of T-Rex, Nick DeFeo. Great line from those guys.
Today could be a big day here for Cody Barnes. We all know he's definitely capable of getting a win in that XC2 class, definitely capable of being up in that overall. We've just not quite saw him up in the overall the same way we have riders like Grant Davis. Today could be Cody Barnes' day.
Well, and he's one of those riders, we talked about it at our first Fan Fest at the start of the season. We know he's capable of it, but for some reason he's just left out of the conversation. We talk about the Red Bear Kawasaki riders, we talk about the Landers KTM riders, but for some reason we slight Cody Barnes, and I even asked him about it, and he uses it as fuel, and he has consistently shown that he's got what it takes. So it's about time we start paying Cody Barnes his respect.
Hey, he's going to make us one way or another. Here we go, Stu Baylor back on screen, your physical leader in your XC1, and look at that, Jordan Ashburn has really closed things up. Ashburn now has Stu Baylor in his sights, and anybody that races knows that is going to be a big advantage now for Ashburn.
Yeah, he's got that visual draft. He can see Baylor up there ahead of him. He knows he's done enough now to make up the gap. Obviously, we don't have camera shots every 10 inches, so we don't know exactly what happened, whether it was Baylor that kind of had some issues and slowed down maybe some lap riders, or did Jordan Ashburn just really push the pace. But things are starting to spread out nonetheless, because now it's a much, much bigger gap back to Liam Draper there in third, as he was in touch with these two just a few miles ago, and an even bigger gap back now to the fourth place rider of Caleb Russell, who was just a few seconds behind Draper in our previous camera shot. So something in the last couple of miles of racetrack really separated these guys out.
And in this little section of track, it actually looked quite nice, able to carry a fair amount of speed, but dip back into it. And the sun was shining pretty heavily earlier. It's become a little more overcast now, but once you get back into the woods, you can see not much has dried up at all.
Yeah, we'll see if we can use our ticker, our time stamp here in the upper left corner to figure out what these gaps are. It was about 49.08. We'll just go with 49.10 for the sake of argument. Easier to remember that those guys left this camera shot. That was when Jordan Ashburn came through. So right now already at 20 seconds back to Liam Draper. You can see that gap has definitely opened up significantly. Looks like we're at about, it's going to be pushing, yeah, it's going to be about 30 seconds. So Draper looking like he's a little more mud covered than we saw him last. Maybe going down, again, maybe some struggles with the lapped rider.
Couldn't tell, did he have new goggles on? He might have stopped for goggles.
He may have.
I couldn't totally tell.
Okay, so top three made their way through here at the mile 10.
Should be waiting on the 557 Ampro Yamaha of Caleb Russell, followed very closely by Josh Strang, Ricky Russell, and most of the XC2 class, as well as Ben Kelly. There's quite a few riders in the mix there. I did not see Ryder Lafferty in the last camera shot, but there was a lot of lines there. Very likely he did come through, and in the chaos of panning back and forth, either I missed him or the camera may have even missed him altogether. So, but this gap is where it's really started to open up now. Looking like we're another 30 seconds plus back to Caleb Russell in the number 4 spot.
So there he is. Russell is through the mile 10, and not much time back to Josh Strang now as he makes his way through.
Barnes. He's gotten around Ricky Russell now as well.
Was that Lafferty? I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think it was Ricky Russell and then Ben Kelly.
Grant
Baylor. Craig DeLong. Grant Davis.
And
Gus Reardon. I don't think we did see Ryder
I don't believe so either. That is Toth, I believe. Yes, it is. No goggles for Toth.
DeFeo should be coming here as well. There he is.
And then these are definitely the conditions you need a pair of goggles in. We saw plenty of riders today pulling off, needing to get those eyes flushed out. That is not the place you want to be about halfway into this one.
Well, and to your point there, halfway in, probably going to be seeing some fuel stops this lap, so that'll provide an opportunity for these guys to wipe off the hands. Most of these guys probably not going to take new gloves. Most likely maybe some towels on the grips, wipe the hands, do everything they can to hold on a little better. Some fresh goggles, rinse out the radiators, fill up with fuel, and take off to try and complete 2 more laps here. And the battle on screen is the battle for it. Oh, that is not Jordan Ashburn. So
there we go.
Baylor has stretched it out again.
Yeah, response from the 514. Looked like Ashburn was on a mission and gets a little hung up there using that inside line. And you can see 1, 2, might have even been a third rider at a complete standstill there. A lot of talk about bottlenecks earlier today as well. So
without a doubt, lap traffic going to be a big part of today's race. Going to have a ton of lap traffic, especially here for these XC1 guys as they approach them.
There you see Stu Baylor. I don't know how many times I've seen his feet on the pegs today. Whoa, Ryan Sipes almost getting sideswiped. And there goes Jordan Ashburn. That was a close one. Even Sipes, I think, was surprised by that.
Some good heads-up riding there from that lapper, making sure that he lets Ashburn have plenty of room to make his way through. Now the next rider we expect to see going to be your third place there in the XC1, Liam Draper.
Man, you can see how difficult that rut is getting, and that inside isn't any better because you got those off-camber plus the roots facing the wrong direction. Here is Draper on the 198 machine.
And Draper makes it through clean. So now expect to see his Ampro teammate making his way through the 557 machine.
Interesting to see how this overall shakes out this lap. You know, last lap obviously was a big mix-up. We saw A riders up in there. We saw a lot of XC2 riders up towards the front. 5 of them in the top 8 overall, actually. Is that going to be the case again this lap? It's kind of looking like it with the XC2 guys so close behind our next pack of XC1 riders, which includes Caleb Russell, Josh Strang, Ricky Russell, Ben Kelly, with the exception of the top 3 that have now kind of gapped out a bit. And now this gap has gotten much bigger back to Caleb Russell. He was closer to Liam Draper in our last camera shot just a few miles ago.
Strong words on the pit board for Cody Barnes. Breathe and believe from that Phoenix Racing Honda team. And Barnes right now showing what he's worth, showing he can be in the discussion for these overall XC2 wins as well.
There is Barnes, the 3rd rider in the shot there. He is right behind Josh Strang and Caleb Russell.
Strang now right there with Russell.
Reardon getting around.
There goes Stu Baylor.
Is that Stu Baylor?
Is
down.
Stu.
And a little limp there, too, so that was a pretty good off. I think Jordan Ashburn will take the lead here, and he does. Oh, that's so costly with the time and the wet gloves now.
Jordan Ashburn almost going down as well. The machine wanting to go sideways, but Ashburn able to keep it on 2 wheels, and he is going to have himself the lead. And now a good little gap back, not a whole lot of time, but Stu Baylor going to have his work cut out for him, because just like we were saying, guys, now them grips absolutely covered in mud. Stu going to be covered head to toe.
The good part is he's only got about 200 yards to go until he gets to the finish line, and then shortly after that, he will have an opportunity to get himself some towels to wipe off the grips and to dry out those gloves a little bit. But Liam Draper still very much in the fight on this one, just a few seconds behind Stu Baylor in the number 3 spot.
Yeah, even after the tip over from Baylor, it feels like Draper has closed that gap up a little bit more. And nice to see the different line options as well. All those riders, and including that lap rider, they're taking a couple different options. And going to show you a replay here. Stu Baylor getting bucked off of that Rocky Mountain Red Bear Kawasaki. Yeah, sliding into home. I guess Stu did say in his pre-race report he was preparing to fall. So
got that one out of the way.
Yeah, check that box.
Covered from head to toe and fall.
Jordan Ashburn just about joined him as well. I think if he wasn't so tall, he would have been on the ground.
What a big day for Jordan Ashburn this could turn out to be. You know, we talked to him in our pre-race interviews. You heard him say, like, not really been the season he was looking for, obviously, with some injuries. Actually had to miss a couple races. Had a few other issues earlier in the year. Had a bike malfunction that cost him a finish there. You know, he's had some decent runs, but not the consistent podium contender and race winner we're used to seeing. Right now, as we approach what we believe will be the halfway point of this one, we'll see if the 2-lap card is in fact out. It is not. They're going to wait and see how the race shakes out. But we think as we're only 48 minutes into this one. We'll see. No, we are 56. I'm sorry. I was looking at it hadn't refreshed on the live timing and scoring. So 57 minutes into this one, it may very possibly end up being a 4-lap race, in which case Jordan Ashburn, halfway through this one, has the lead, starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Stu Baylor, but we know we're going to see some pit stops here in a minute, boys.
Here we go.
Let's watch. Flat Rock Motor Club gas machine is in. And immediately they go to work, not only refueling, but rinsing that machine off as well. You see Stu Baylor headed into his pits.
He is off the machine.
Sure going to get that.
That's probably going to wash the seat off.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a Stu move. He really likes that seat being washed off in those pit stops.
I'm sure going to wash those hands off as well.
Look at that. Ashburn already out of the pits and on his way.
Stu getting a little extra help on the takeoff.
So there it is. Stu Baylor back off and rolling now from the pit stop over at the Kawasaki rig. And your new leader out on Racer TV right now, Jordan Ashburn. We all know Jordan loves the mud. He's getting a chance to prove it right now.
All right, as of right now, still just those 3 riders checked in with 2 laps complete. Liam Draper 20 seconds behind Stu Baylor, who is 7 seconds behind Jordan Ashburn. We'll wait and see as are the rest of our XC1 and our XC2 riders start checking in. Caleb Russell now has checked in 1 minute 13 seconds behind Liam Draper, so losing a pile of time in the last couple of miles of that lap there, but holding on physically to the 4th place position on the racetrack. And now here comes the XC2 boys. Cody Barnes has checked in, your XC2 leader. He is 4th place overall, so he has done. Yeah, okay, so Angus Reardon in the number 2 spot, 8 seconds behind him is your 5th place rider overall. Then Caleb Russell, the next rider checked in at 6th overall. Then Josh Strang, Ricky Russell, Ben Kelly, Grant Baylor, Craig DeLong have all checked in now with 2 laps complete, and here they come into the pits, guys.
So taking a look here at the KTM truck.
Cleaning out those radiators and a fresh set of goggles for the 530 of Kelly, and just like that, he is underway. Look at this now. Draper right to the rear wheel of Stu Baylor. That is the battle on track for your 2nd place in the XC1 and the overall as they run.
And so that is the question. Stu sacrificing a little extra time to wash some things out more thoroughly in that pit stop. We see Toth and DeFeo in the pits at the same time. It's those quick moments of chaos in the pits. Teams, everybody's got their role, and it's so crucial in conditions like this as well. Cleaning those bikes out, trying to keep them cool. And looks like Draper must have had a pretty good stop as well, as he is right to the rear wheel of Stu. But Stu responding a little bit. He's put maybe a bike length or 2 since the last time we saw him.
Yeah, Stu obviously with the lengthy stop. Looks like the Ampro Yamaha team had Draper in and out quickly, able to make up what at scoring was a 20-second deficit. But again, Stu being off his bike, wanting that seat cleaned. And sometimes that can pay dividends, like you pointed out there, Zach, already seeming to maybe pull a few bike lengths on Liam Draper. But just as we say that, looks like Draper is right back in the next section of racetrack. But being comfortable in conditions like this, taking the extra time, again, goggles, gloves or towels, cleaning off that seat, it just makes the next coming laps that much better.
Yeah, Stu Baylor now gaining those bike links back as they're going to head back off into the woods.
Oh, okay.
Draper going to pull over. He's back off and rolling. What was that?
My guess is they did not get the dry brake cap back on. And this is just pure speculation, but it looked like it was something there that they maybe popped that dry brake cap back on just so that does not fill up with mud. They likely won't have to pit again, but they maybe don't want to take a chance on anything getting into the tank. That's what it looked like to me.
All right. A thick section right here as we're watching Baylor try to maneuver his way through. Watching Evan Smith now in the pits.
Trying to get as much mud off that machine to lighten it up, clean out those radiators. He is actually doing a glove change, which, although time consuming, can make you feel a lot better, but it's just so lengthy, the amount of time that it takes to take gloves off, put fresh ones on. It's definitely a challenge to try to make up that time. Oh, some fresh Scott goggles going on there.
There we go.
Evan Smith, one of the smilier riders, said he'd be out there whether it was his job or not. Not quite having the luck he was hoping for so far in this race, but certainly not afraid of the conditions.
Back on screen, I believe that may have been Baylor, our 2nd place rider. And there is, yep, back end getting a little loose. Liam Draper trying to track him back down. So a quick little stop, whatever that was for, whether it was a dry brake cap or maybe an energy gel, who knows. It was not a fuel stop, which is the only thing those guys are not allowed to do outside of the pro pit area. Anything else, you're allowed to stop anywhere on the racetrack for assistance or even just to communicate with your crew. Something we can maybe get an update after the race. We would talk to Liam Draper as it looks right now, maybe on the podium. But there is that Baylor again there, looking like he took a little look over his shoulder to see where Draper was at.
Oh, and missing the visor. That's Jones. Okay.
Yeah. Back to the Yamaha Racing live drone, weaving his way through the St. Clairsville forest is Stu Baylor. The fans still making the most of it. They're having time out here waving to on RacerTV.com.
guys, got to give a shout out. I'm sure we'll get the running order up here at some point, but 6th place still, again this lap, in the overall. Gavin Simon has now checked in out of that 258 class in that number 6 spot overall, and honestly not too far behind, about 4 riders ahead of him. Not far off an overall podium right now. Wow. Is Gavin Simon out of that 258 class. He is absolutely on rails with a 29:53 lap time. He is moving right now, putting himself in the conversation to definitely contend for a top 5 or maybe even an overall podium here today if he can keep this up.
Now that would be wild. JoJo Cunningham on screen.
JoJo Cunningham 20th place overall, so he moved up from, I think he was near 30th the lap before. He did make up some time, but man, he is, if you were looking at it here, he would be from the 258. Chase Landers in second, 1 minute and 2 seconds behind Gavin Simon, and then JoJo Cunningham another 1:16 behind Chase Landers. But shout out to Cole Whitmer, still 3rd place in our overall amateur out of that Open A class, sitting in the 17th place spot overall.
There is Jordan Ashburn back on our screen now here at the mile 3 marker. And makes it through clean. Now let's see how far the gap's going to be back here to Stu Baylor.
There is Baylor, the second machine on screen.
And not much, Johnny.
Nope, he's definitely, but you can see the challenges with these lapped riders. He's trying to let that guy know he's coming by on the high side, but you don't want to lock bars. You'll end up laying on the ground, and there is the 198 of Draper there in the number 3 spot.
So our top 3 have made it through the mile 3 here, as we expect to be just over about 5 minutes over. Actually, let's see. Yeah, about 5 minutes over the halfway point in this one.
Look at that slop.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the trail, and only half of it's even usable. I mean, there's some line creation going on, but more than majority of it's pretty much useless. We had one rider tell us on the podium he had some bottlenecks late in the race and got creative and said he has never sank into a hole that deep in his life. He's like, I genuinely thought I'd never see my bike again.
I believe that.
All right. Now it's Josh Strang up to the number 4 spot. He has gotten around Caleb Russell on that Liquid Moly Factory Beta. Then Cody Barnes up to 6th or 5th place physically, and Grant Baylor 7th place physically on the racetrack as they come through this section of racetrack.
And now we're going to see,
looks like Gus Reardon.
Yep. Where's the 557 machine?
And it's Ricky Russell, Ben Kelly,
and back to our leader, the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn. And the Flat Rock Motor Club Gas Machine getting it done so far.
A lot of lapped riders here. This is going to really play into the hands of Jordan Ashburn in this section, at least. He got ahead of those lapped riders. Stu Baylor still needs to make the pass on those guys. Advantage Jordan Ashburn in this section.
And Liam Draper now going to make his way by. We're trying to keep our eyes out here, make sure that somehow we didn't miss Caleb Russell there. If it is the case, then Russell really falling off hard. Something definitely had to have happened out there.
See Liam Draper, our 3rd place rider, come through. There is Gavin Simon. That is the rider 6th place overall on corrected time right now, and he's just continuing to chew his way through those XC2 and XC1 riders, running an absolutely fantastic pace out there on a very, very challenging racetrack right now.
Yeah, Gavin's consistently been one of our top amateurs we interview up on the podium. And take a look at
Brody Johnson.
Yep, Brody making his way through.
Last we saw, he was about in the 6th place spot in that XC2 class.
So now back up here to the mile 4 marker where we just saw our lead group making their way by. And waiting now.
Should be the number 7 of Strang. Oh, Barnes now has gotten around Strang. He is on a mission right now. 99 of Cody Barnes has gotten around Josh Strang. He's gotten around Grant Baylor, and he is starting to distance himself from the second-place rider in XC2, which is Gus Reardon right now.
Yeah, it looked like a fair amount of separation between that top 5 in the XC2 class as well.
Another rider we did not see in our previous camera shot was the number 1 of Grant Davis.
Yep.
Also did not come through. There's Ben Kelly. There's Ricky Russell. There's Gus Reardon. So Grant Davis and Caleb Russell both missing from action here. Craig DeLong now putting himself back up in the fight. Pretty good lap for Craig there. Josh Toth. There is Davis.
Davis having some tough luck.
So back in the number 4 spot in that XC2 class.
There goes T-Rex now, making his way by on that 246.
Crazy conditions at one rider.
There's Russell. There's Caleb Russell. A lot of time lost there.
Yeah, and you can tell by the gear, it looks like he may have found the ground. That one rider leaning over into the bush to get out of the way for our lead riders. Did not want to cause any issues. And there is Gavin Simon. That is, I think, the fastest I saw anyone come through that section. It's chaos here. We're mudsliding. We're having fun. This is what GNCC is all about, making the most of it. Mother Nature couldn't bring us down here at the Kenda Tires Powerline Park GNCC. It's a battle right now. Stu Baylor, Jordan Ashburn at the front of the XC1 field. And the XC2 field trying to chase them down on a lap time once again. Ashburn making some moves around the outside. Can't forget about Liam Draper staying in that top 3 as well. But our XC2 riders navigating around lap riders. I don't know if they're lap riders, if they're stuck still, but we're having to deal with it all. Stu Baylor found the ground. We'll see how it shakes out. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back to the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda Tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda Tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gasket seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best inside their engine. Cometic Gaskets are always constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environments. Whether it's a championship on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts alike depend on Cometic. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Hey, Progressive, the title sponsor of GNCC. How about the Progressive Campground? Save money on all your insurance needs. Scan the QR code on RacerTV.com right now. This is a shot, I would say, certainly earlier in the day.
In the weekend,
I should say, because it's beautiful and green and there's no mud yet. But nonetheless, hey, this is what it's all about. GNCC Racing. We've got a lot of campers, and that is just a portion of the campers we see out here. And Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your camper and RV insurance. Make the switch. Scan the QR code and give yourself an opportunity to maybe save a little bit of money. This has been the story of the day. Mud and getting stuck and survival and just trying to go out there and make the best of it and hang in there.
Hopefully our pro rider's not making it to this section because that is close to the main line that everybody's been using. And that rider getting stuck even worse.
This is just, been the story of the day. We've had a few riders. I can't call anybody out because I made the comment, Johnny, throughout the hypothetical, how long would you last out here? And I said I'd pull off after the first turn. We had a rider do that this morning. I think it was one of the 60-plus classes. Gentleman went down in the first turn. I won't call him out. And then immediately turned around and said, nah, I'm good. I got the taste of it. So, I don't blame him. This is tough. This is absolutely as difficult as it gets as far as off-road racing is concerned. But how about Jordan Ashburn doing his thing out there?
On screen now is Jordan Ashburn on this Yamaha Racing live drone, showing how to make it through the mud in good style. And we all know Jordan is definitely capable of doing that.
By the way, for the folks at home, we found out during the commercial break, sounds like we will be looking at a 5-lap race.
Oh, and Jordan, oh man, what a save, Mike.
Real good save by Ashburn. So again, a 5-lap race, and honestly, like outside perspective looking in, I was going to guess about a 4-lap race, but it sounds like we are going to run 5. So Jordan Ashburn, you if you're having fun, you get to have a little more fun. If you're not, well, embrace it. You're in the lead. I'm sure he has no problems with that.
Race clock now at 1 hour and 15 minutes into this one, as now we see Ashburn here at this mile 9 marker, and smooth sailing.
It's just not fair watching Ashburn course through the FMF PowerPoint.
And Stu Baylor been carrying some speed as well, as Stu making his way through. Stu was hopeful about today when you got to talk to him down on the line, Mikey.
Yeah, is similar scenario to what we had at Talladega a while back, and he picked up the win in Tennessee. And similar conditions today. He's got the baby blanket tucked inside the chest protector. I don't know if that's like a good luck thing or just like a maybe I can dry my hands off thing, but hey, he's in a podium position. Liam Draper having a solid day as well.
Yep, Liam making his way by. And hey, it paid off for Stu Baylor. He took a slide on his chest a little bit earlier, so maybe the baby blanket giving him a little bit of support. There is Jordan Ashburn once again on this live drone, as now he's going to get up into some lap traffic once again. And you can see here from the shot, Stu Baylor not in a position to pull anything off right now. There's going to be several bike links back to him, a lot more than just bike links at this point.
You know, it's an interesting perspective with the relevance of the XC2. Grant Davis working their way in XC1 pack. Guys like Jordan Ashburn in the old days, aka just 2 years ago, Ashburn would be in a position right now where he could kind of set that pace out in front and just ride his race. But now you got to think if you're an XC1 guy, you're out front, you feel that sense of urgency to push.
Pushing is Cody Barnes. Look at that, your XC2 leader making his way by.
Oh boy.
There's Josh Strang still holding solid just behind him. Grant Baylor going to make his way by as well. Grant going to lose a couple bike links now to Strang. But those three starting to make some room between them and our next group of riders. We'll see who it's going to be this time through. And there it is, Angus Reardon holding solid on that KTM machine. I wasn't quite able to catch that rider there. Another one of the KTM boys making their way through. Ben Kelly just behind. And there's Craig DeLong.
Looked like no goggles for Craig.
Josh Toth now going to make his way through.
Toth, very good technical rider. We used to always brag on him. We got Snowshoe coming up later this year, and always one of the most fun guys to watch through Howard's Hole, just kind of coursing that technical section of the track.
And a mud rider himself getting that first ever overall win out of the XC2 in a rough Georgia clay mud race. See how he's able to do here at the end of this one in Ohio. But back to Jordan Ashburn.
Yeah, Ashburn run away and hide right now. Like I was saying, this is normally what we used to see, where a guy can kind of pace out in front. You can't hear, you can't see the guy in second. That is Stu Baylor. But with the emergence of that XC2 class, and just kind of happen to almost rely, or not almost, really rely on the pit boards to let you know whether or not the XC2 has got you on adjusted time. Ashburn's doing everything he can right now to stretch this thing out, and doing very, very well. And I got to think, like, given the track conditions we've had this weekend, this might be the best the track has looked all day for anybody. If you're Jordan Ashburn out there right now, able to pick your lines.
Yeah, no doubt it is. And then just got our first shot there from the live drone of where we could see Stu Baylor and Ashburn in the same shot. Baylor not going to be that much farther behind. He should be popping into view now any second. And right on time, there he is.
So Stu pushing as well, but like really, you can kind of tell when Stu is that 100-mile-an-hour Stu versus like very methodical right now. Like can't really afford to make a mistake. He had that little get off earlier that we caught on Racer TV, and that's where Ashburn was able to get him and put this little gap on him. So we'll see if Stu can rebound.
Yeah, Stu getting things cleaned off there in the pit, so he should be good to go. Liam Draper.
Yeah, and Liam not far off that pace either.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's almost like all three guys are just like, if I can ride mistake free, it's kind of like the waiting game of who's going to make the first mistake and who's behind them to capitalize.
Exactly. McFaint making his way by when they get the shot. And a big gap now back to our next group of riders.
Big gap. We didn't talk about it, or we talked about it a little bit yesterday as far as like the bottlenecks. Hasn't really been too big of an issue today on the two-wheel side. But maybe as this thing goes on, all it takes is just get a few bikes stuck, linked up, and clog things up.
Yeah, I've been relatively surprised because that was the word we heard about all morning, and so it just goes to show. We talk about the skill of the afternoon racers in general, as we see Cody Barnes on screen right now. All of these riders have skills. They're out there for a minimum of 2 hours today, usually 3 hours, and so there's a certain level of skill and confidence that goes along with that. So even the lap riders, I think, know how to be lapped a little better.
Yeah.
So last time Barnes checked in, he was sitting in that fourth place spot on adjusted time. He is physically fourth out on the track right now.
Barnes finally having that day in that XC2 class. That was what Strang behind him, and then Grant Baylor. But Barnes, we've talked to him several times. You know, he's had some great finishes, but that win has kind of eluded him. There went Ricky Russell, the 2-1-2 on that Triumph.
That was the rider we missed in the other camera shot. There goes Ben Kelly now. Josh Toth through the FMF PowerPoint. Craig DeLong.
That pack pretty close. One little mistake by any of those guys, pick up a position. You know Ben would like to get up, pick up a few spots. Yeah. Points leader coming into today could really use, he's not doing bad by any means, but could really use as much of a gap as he can get between what he called the young punk kid that was lined up directly behind him in the XC2 and Grant Davis.
Well, and I think he knows, as much as they joke back and forth, young punk kid, he knows this guy's a legit threat. Yeah. He's legit competition. And so days like today are big opportunities for those points. Obviously, Bryson Neal, a perfect example of that yesterday. I think that was Gavin Simon that might have just went by. Gavin is flying right now.
And there's Johnson now going to make his way by. Man, how about Simon?
That's twice now. He's been the fastest, at least appearing rider through a section. Great form, no feet off the pegs or anything like that. I mean, really impressive. I believe that was Ashburn we just watched head out of sight.
It was, and now going to see Stu Baylor popping into the screen.
So Baylor not out of this. He's kind of holding strong in that gap for the moment, but if he could get up just a little bit closer, he could catch the back, a little bit of sight, and I think that would be all Stu would need.
Yep, indeed. Indeed. So now going to see, that was our third place of Liam Draper that was popping onto the screen, but we're going to go back here to the live drone. There's Draper once again. Got a glimpse there from the drone of Ashburn. But Draper is through this mile 13. And two of our lap riders going to make their way by now.
Yeah, Draper almost not a big island that he's on, but a mild island, if you will, trying to push himself forward.
And here we go, Jordan Ashburn back on screen once again on that Flat Rock Motor Club gas machine. And the number 3. I guess you could say, Mikey, he is the intimidator here in the mud, no doubt. Still continuing to watch here on this Yamaha Racing Live drone, as now going to have to make, and not too hard to get around that lap traffic. Made easy work of that one.
No, quick work for Jordan Ashburn. Ashburn just doing what he does best out there right now. It's been a technical course. Even seen some of the comments on Racer TV. A lot of the fan spectators out there calling this an old school GNCC technical track. And boy, Jordan Ashburn making the best of it right now. Just has not had that situation. He's had a couple good saves, but just so methodical through here. Holding off Stu Baylor.
He's blind.
Ridiculous. Absolutely hauling. We pan back, see if we can get a shot of Stu. And there is Stu moving through and getting around some lap traffic there. As we watch this one unfold here, we are joined in the booth by Auntie Man, and well, hey, we're getting to that point as we watch Liam Draper on screen on that Ampro Yamaha. Auntie, we're getting to the point, man. ISDE is slowly becoming top of mind for you.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually coming up earlier this year in August, mid-August, so we're in a full swing right now, and you know, we got just last night we kind of finalized our team, so I got to,
can we break the news? Can we
talk
that?
Yeah,
okay, good.
We can give a little sneak peek for the Racer TV viewers. The official press release goes out this coming week, but yeah, the teams are almost nearly the same. I'm very excited to announce that Just Toad, Cody Barnes, Dante Oliveira and Johnny Giror are representing the trophy team this year. So same team as last year. Cody was a last-minute replacement for Craig DeLong, and he performed well. And this year he's been showing a great speed. So all those guys are earning their spot on a trophy team. So looking forward to that. And junior team. We had a last-minute replacement there. Actually, the pick came all the way down to last night. That's what we were working.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this is breaking.
This is breaking,
like this.
yeah. So we had already the team pick, but now a last-minute injury by Jason Tino. He's out now for the season with the ACL injury, so had to find the best replacement for him. So the junior team is Grant Davis, who was phenomenal last year. And then Mateo Oliveira, this is going to be his last year as a junior, so I'm expecting big things from him as well. And now the replacement for Tino is going to be Cooper Jones.
Oh, nice. So
very good. There was a handful of riders, actually 6 of them. We have a deep pool of good young riders, and we did our thorough review, and Cooper Jones earned the spot. So I'm very excited. He went last year as a club rider, so he's out there now also battling the elements, but he's been showing a great speed at the Sprint Enduro.
So tell us a little bit about, we dive a little deeper. Obviously, there's always a representation from our world of GNCC, which is what we focus on. We're on the East Coast. You always get some West Coast guys in there as well. Do you feel like the mixture of the two gives you an advantage, or is that just kind of how it is?
It really depends on the terrain. If we go to any of the South American ISDEs, usually West Coast-based team is better. But when we go to East Coast, it really depends on the riders. Like we have the Oliveira brothers; they've been staple ISDE riders, but you got to find the raw speed. That's and there are some good talent coming up in West Coast as well. So So, but mainly now it's going to be East Coast terrain this year in Italy.
Nice.
So Northern Italy. So I'm looking forward to having these guys represent. And then also we can't forget our women team. Brandy Richards, who's actually now missing from the action at GNCC with an injury, but she's expected to be.
That was going to be a question, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, we have her on the team. We have Corey Steed and Rachel Goodish. So
I wondered. I saw you speaking with Corey this morning, and it was kind of in the back of my mind. I'm like, I bet I know what they're talking about. I hope I'm right, and sure enough, it is. That's good.
Yeah. So same trio. They've been doing well for the past couple of years. Corey got injured last year, so Eva Silvestri stepped in and she did great and brought the championship home. But now we're back to the original trio, and they should be doing well.
That's good, man. Very excited about it. Cannot wait. And what is in store from you? You wear a lot of hats. You're a very, very busy man. Infiltrated in racing, off-road racing. What does it look like for you between the months between now and into ISDE?
Oh, it's really busy. Yeah. Obviously, the day job at KTM and the KTM group handling the 3 brands, plus then now the ISDE, and we're really in the crunch time now. Like, we got to ship all our product in a month. So we're working on that with all the teams, getting all the bikes ready.
Those are things I never think about, personally, is we've got to get everything over there as well.
Yeah, so we're kind of like doing all these selection last minute because we had these injuries. So, but now it was the 11th hour to make the decisions. We made them last night, and now it's a full steam ahead. So awesome. there's no days off between now and Italy.
That's it. Amen. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, hey, best of luck to you. I know you guys are going to do well. We have no doubt. Full faith in Team USA.
Yeah, we finished on the podium on all classes last year, and we aim for the top step on all the classes. Amen. So that's our goal.
Amen.
All right.
All right, make it happen, brother. Appreciate you coming and stopping by and sharing the news.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for the update. Sounds like we got quite the team. So back to the racing action on the screen. Looks like not a whole lot has changed out there as our top 3. Oh, somebody's down right here, Mikey. Is that our leader?
That is. It is Ashburn. And not just down, boy, that looks...
Down in a mud hole, Stu Baylor to the outside, man. So that's how quick things can change here at the Kenda Powerline Park, no doubt. So Ashburn, is that him off to the track, or is he back up and going? It's hard to tell. I believe that is him off of the track.
I think you're right, and maybe...
is that him? It's so hard to tell.
We can't really get low. We're over the power lines. That is him. Okay, so confirmation that it did look like Ashburn. Looked like he had that the camel back there. But so just as quick as Stu Baylor went down, and Ashburn able to capitalize, and now we flip-flop that. Ashburn makes a mistake, and Ashburn looked like he was a little slow to get up. I don't think anything wrong with him or the bike. It just looked like some nasty watery mud right there. Maybe take a little extra time, clean the gloves off the best you can, and get back in the fight.
Yeah, covered in mud. We've talked about that today, Mikey, how hard, how difficult that makes it for the riders after they do that. Worst possible place that Jordan Ashburn could have fell besides running into an actual pond.
So new leader, the 514 of Stu Baylor. Another guy that likes the mud. He
showing it.
Yeah, he had the win at Talladega. And looking to make things happen here at Powerline Park in Ohio.
And this is a hard one to speculate on, Mikey. Anything could happen. Taking a look, Liam Draper was going to be about 21 seconds behind us, Stu Baylor, when they checked in there for 3 laps complete. So there is 3 laps in the books. That means we got 2 more to go here. And as far as our XC2 class goes, Angus Reardon has now overtaken the lead from Cody Barnes. They were only 1 second apart when they crossed through the line, and those two are going to be sitting 4th and 5th on the overall. Gavin Simon still going to be holding on to that 6th place spot out of the 250A class.
How about that?
And then behind Simon, we see Davis, Toth, Strang, and Grant Baylor to round out our top 10 on the overall charts.
So Stu Baylor grabs the lead away from Jordan Ashburn after Ashburn has a little get-off, makes a small mistake. There's Caleb Russell into the pits.
They were doing something to that machine. You saw the bike up on the stand for a minute.
Bike stand out.
Looks like something with the front wheel. You see how
yep. Yeah, good catch.
Definitely going to have a new front wheel on that machine. Maybe we could get down there and figure out what happened at M-Pro Yamaha.
So some changes for Caleb. Caleb's still in the fight, though. This is one of those like anything can happen kind of races. I noticed just watching in there, we didn't always have the shot on the broadcast, but pretty much every guy at least stopping in the pit for fresh goggles, just that precautionary. Every time you run through, it just makes that much of a difference. Worth stopping, taking a couple seconds to freshen that up.
Well, this is one of those races where we hear the saying, you got to go slow to go fast a lot, and that doesn't just mean sometimes you have to ride a little more hesitant, but you have to take those extra few seconds to grab goggles, grab hydration, take spray off the radios. These are little things that we know the seconds feel like minutes, feel like hours, but at the same time, not stopping and getting your radiators cleaned off, something as simple as that, maybe 2 to 3 seconds at most, could cost you the entire race if your bike overheats. So it's the little things that sometimes it's easy to get caught up in all the hype of the race, and those professional teams are good at saying, hey, slow down a little bit, let's not rush anything, make sure we hit our marks. Hunter Hart talked about perfecting those pit stops yesterday as we watched Stu Baylor on screen and how much that helped him grab a win. Stu Baylor trying to do the same right here.
Yeah, and Stu, we were watching that battle between him and Ashburn closing that up just a little bit compared to what it was a moment ago. But both guys, where we would have a race where, we didn't have the rain and it's, perfect conditions, these guys would be wheel to wheel right now. And I think both of those guys, including this guy right here, Liam Draper, just choosing to me versus the course as opposed to me versus the guy directly in front of me, at least for the moment. White flag comes out, maybe different story. But
I was
right
about
now,
to say,
it's on two wheels.
And they're good at flipping that switch to where it's, hey, just keep the pace, right? Just stay in a good spot, stay within sight of the lead, this amount of time from the lead. But then it does seem like the 2-lap card, or in conditions like this, the white flag especially, they just drop all that. And it's, okay, where's everybody at? Where do I need to be? How do I get there?
So Jackson Burrell on his way over to the AmPro Yamaha pit, see if we can get a word in with them. Of course, looked like a wheel change for Caleb Russell. Caleb Russell back out there. Where was Russell when he checked in?
Russell...
16.
Yeah, so definitely something happened to the 557.
Leader.
And he has continued to close that up, if that is Jordan Ashburn. So one of the more damp spots here. You see a lot of standing water through this section.
Man, Stu. I think Stu heard him. On the throttle, so Stu out in front, Jordan Ashburn in the 2 spot. The Kawasaki and the Gas your leaders out in front.
Sounds like Jackson's getting some stuff set up out there.
Set up.
Yep. Be good to know exactly what that was. Probably give us a little better idea as to how long that pit stop would have taken, whether they were just checking something or whether they were actually physically changing the wheel.
Oh boy, and now we're going to get into some lap traffic. So Stu out in front, and throw it all out the window what I was saying about being conservative and racing the track. Jordan Ashburn's like, I can race the track just fine. I'm going up to compete.
Yeah, it's almost like the problems for Ashburn kind of woke him back up. He has clearly got a new sense of urgency, new sense of life all over the back of Stu Baylor for the moment. There is Liam Draper, just been out of reach from getting in the fight with this as well.
Yeah, and hopefully Liam's gotten some pit boards letting him know just how close he is to those guys. So I mentioned he was on that island earlier today. Just like a few lappers in between the 2 front guys throughout this race. Been a situation where Jordan Ashburn and Stu Baylor are able to get around quickly, and then they get hung up with Liam.
So continuing to watch here at the 4-mile mark. And you can see a lot of front ends being caught by these exit ruts. You can kind of see right in the middle of your screen the way that one rut crosses back over.
The trees, pretty good example of just how muddy we are.
Yep.
Just waiting, mile marker 4. Got a good one between Ashburn and Baylor. Draper in the 3rd place spot, and sounds like we're getting things set up down in the pro pits. And I believe Jackson Burrell standing by in the AmPro Yamaha pits.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Lucas to get an update on Caleb Russell. Could you tell us what was going on?
Yeah, he kept pointing at his front wheel like at the 10-mile marker, and we couldn't really get a solid answer from him, but he yelled at the 11 front wheel. He came in, I think him and Ben got together is what we heard, and he had no front brakes. I think his disc was bent, so he came in and we had a wheel swap, and he went back out. So,
all right, there we go. Appreciate it, Lucas. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jackson. So how about that? That's some serious contact between Kelly and Russell, as looks like Ricky Russell now starting to apply pressure back to what I believe was Cody Barnes. But look at Grant Davis, who has set a charge forward, has gotten around Ben Kelly, around Grant Baylor. He was pretty far back. That is... It always blows my mind to see how good these riders are at shaking things off. Something happens in that first hour even. They're able to brush it off, and they know that things are still undecided. We've seen Stu Baylor, a lot of those come from behind runs as well. Craig DeLong turning things around from was moving backwards early in this race and has been picking it back up here in this second hour of racing.
Yeah, those guys, it's just getting down to the nitty-gritty, and it's that sense of urgency time. Yeah, 5-lap race, 3 completed. So next time around, those guys going to get that white flag, and then the racing is really on. Lap traffic been a bit of a factor, maybe a factor right here as they have to check up just a bit, and there's more lappers ahead of them. Something tells me you know, well, one, you know when it's the pro behind you, but you probably certainly know when it is the 514 of Stu Baylor behind you.
Yeah, he has been more than vocal a few times about, and oh, look at that, problems. That was the pass, I believe. Wait a second.
I think it's just Stu,
okay, all right.
Ashburn. Yeah.
They pulled a fast one on there. I got confused.
It did kind of look
like
Stu.
Look like Stu pulled over for a second. So Baylor's still out front. False alarm, folks. Sorry, Jade.
Yes, get the heart pumping a little bit there.
So funny when you walk into the pits in the middle of a race and everybody just stares at you.
Yeah, they're like, are they coming our way?
Here?
Yeah, 100%. So Stu Baylor out in front. Ashburn in that 2 spot. Looking for some opportunity. Ashburn's been on the rear wheel of Stu Baylor. Not the case right now, as Stu's been able to find some speed and move forward. And they haven't really had any problems with lap traffic yet, but there hasn't been anybody really broke down or having too many troubles out in front of them. Oh, nice save right there by Stu.
Yeah,
nice save by Ashburn as well.
A lot of weight over that front end. That could have been a big one for Baylor. And don't forget, as this race wears on and they lap deeper into the field, those are going to be theoretically a little higher skill level, more likely to be competing for their own position as well. So it's a tough spot. Stu's talked about this as well. It's a double-edged sword. He doesn't expect these riders to just drop their own race, but they do have to adhere to the professionals making their way through. Tough thing to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We watch it continue to unfold between Baylor and Ashburn. Baylor on the inside, out in front, left-hand side of the screen, and Ashburn just behind him. Maybe arguably the toughest guys to even pass out in front right now. It seems like every pro rider I ask, man, who's the toughest guy to pass? Without hesitation, it always seems to be Ashburn, and I'd say second to that might just be Stu. So not going to make it easy. And Stu knows that as well. I mean, if you know that Ashburn's the guy behind you, I can't let him back around me because he's such a pain in the butt to get around, especially when it's for a race win.
Well, Ashburn's kind of a smiley-faced assassin, if you will. He's a very soft-smoking guy, very calm in his demeanor, but when he's got the helmet on, he is absolutely brutal, and he will take an opportunity no matter how slim the doors open.
So looking at our treetops, spring is sprung.
Guys, as I take a look here at the times, it definitely going to be well over that 2-hour mark here in this one. When it comes to a close, expecting our leaders back over at the finish line in roughly about 12 minutes or so, and we're an hour and 43 minutes here into this one, turning 30-minute plus lap times. And those top 3 when they checked in for lap number 3, obviously a lot has changed. The lap time is going to be very, very similar, less than 5 seconds. Those lap times, then we see a 16 between Draper and there. 3 really carrying the speed.
Watch it from the FMF PowerPoint. Waiting on that battle, Ashburn and Baylor. Draper was not too far off of their pace either in that 3 spot. And this is what we were talking about, as Ashburn and Baylor has been pretty fortunate not to run into something like this, where you got guys burying bikes.
The hip flexors are hurting just watching how many times I've got to pick those feet up. And you see your top rider is so good at last-second maneuvering on the line choices, staying on the pegs as much as possible.
Who wants it? Ashburn or Baylor? They got to go do this one more time. 5 laps when it's said and done.
And the way things are kind of starting to tighten up, the lap traffic that we know they're going to be getting into, I don't think Draper's out of this discussion yet either.
Oh,
he's not far. He is far back.
Roots.
But, yeah, and this is another thing. As they get deeper and deeper, those can cause some issues with the machines as well.
Yeah, you're right. Draper in that 3 spot, and then we talked about Cody Barnes and Angus Reardon out in front of him last time we saw. We'll see if Barnes can answer back, but both of those guys having a solid day.
Yeah, they sure are. Now back to our Yamaha Racing live drone here. Thanks.
Stu finding another gear out there, putting a little bit of distance between them.
Yeah, just kind of playing a yo-yo effect here between those two. The game of follow the leader.
That's it. Ashburn's on it, though,
has been changing.
Passes have both happened when the other guy made the mistake. So Baylor trying to stay mistake-free right now. Let's see how far back. See the Ampro Yamaha guys there, pit crew, keeping their eye out for their guy, the 198.
There he is.
Had some words of encouragement for Liam as he went by. They're right there. Go get him. And this is that battle we're watching for the lead. Baylor continues to be out front. Ashburn in the 2 spot.
It's so funny to watch the 2 different styles. Stu a little more bulldozing his way through it, feet off the pegs, wide open, and then Jordan a bit more of a technical approach. How close they are on speed, like Jackson was talking about, the lap times within a few seconds of each other. That last lap.
It's like going to like a heavy metal show for Stu, and then like going to a symphony watching Jordan Ashburn, and they're both awesome.
They both rock. Yeah.
It's both cool. It's both a good show. So we just kind of like sit. You get stuck in spectator mode, just like watching, like waiting. Like, okay, is someone going to make a mistake? Is it going to be the lap traffic? Like, how does this thing get tightened back up?
And at the moment, like, the riders are pushing a decent pace, but it doesn't seem like they've hit that sprint speed. And I think you got to wonder now whether or not the teams have communicated a 5-lap race to them, so they do maybe have a little more in that reserve, waiting on the white flag, knowing the challenges that they're going to have up ahead. And don't forget, Stu currently tied with Scott Plessinger on the all-time wins list. 21 wins for both of them. So he's got the chance to move up to the 8th place spot and tie Charlie Mullins for 7th. And then it's only a few more up to Josh Strang, who is 6th on the all-time wins list. So a little bit of history with the potential being made for this one as well for Stu. I was watching... Couldn't quite tell that possibly Reardon on that one.
That was indeed Reardon with that 35 machine.
Out in front of Barnes.
And there he is. Cody Barnes makes his way by.
Some big moves from Reardon as well. He was kind of on the backside of that XC2 freight train, and now he's worked his way up as Ricky Russell was there just in front of Grant Davis.
And speaking of freight trains, Davis picking up a lot of ground now. So Davis going to join the chat.
Maybe nobody told Grant it was 5 laps. Grant's just final lap sprinting for 2 laps.
Was that Strang that we saw going by there?
I think so. It was. So we go back to the winding uphill. Once again, so hard to express just how steep this is.
That's very true, yeah. You stand out there and look at it. Everything out here is like off camber, like just ridiculous. Camera doesn't quite do that justice, but yeah, this is a difficult way to go.
Watch the way your leader's using the edges of that main trail, searching for a little bit of traction, cutting back and forth, straightening out those corners. As you're watching the battle for your XC1 physical lead, Stu Baylor and Jordan Ashburn going at it.
And there he is. Jordan Ashburn makes his way by here at the mile 10 mark.
Would have had Stu just in front of him.
Yep. Now expecting to see what should be the 198 Ampro Yamaha.
By all rights, like Liam having a solid day here. No stranger to the podium. Wants that win.
Well, and he's getting to that point too as well. He's always happy on the podium. He gives a great interview, but you can tell the shine is wearing off of the second and third place positions as well. You know, it's one thing. It's almost more frustrating when we talk about when you're that close. You know, put your hand on the glass. You can see the win. You just can't quite grab it. So still a solid run for Draper. Consistency's there. Speed and fitness is there as well. We talked about that at our last race. He posted his heart rate data from, I believe it was Camp Coker. And, I mean, just absolutely mind-blowing data that is really cool. We're going to try to incorporate more of that in the Racer TV broadcast, working with the teams and the riders to get that information out there. I think a lot of people, we know we're tough. Everybody at Racer TV knows we're tough. But we want to be able to actually give facts.
Here's some stats behind
all you do is sit there and twist the throttle.
Some crazy stats.
Insane stats. I mean, you're arguing with doctors over some of this heart rate data because it's hard to find this kind of repetition and this kind of endurance in any other sporting world.
We talked about it on Friday. We were talking, I've got some friends that did a mini marathon back home. We were talking ultra marathons. And even that, like you're looking for like a 140 to maybe 150 heart rate. These guys are out there at the high 170s, low 180s for 3 hours. And
179, I think, was Liam's average.
Yeah, and when you say that, and I know everybody watching at home, or at least most of the people are like, yeah, absolutely. I don't think people that aren't familiar with motorsports have that, like,
we're going to do
realistic.
We'll do a GNCC challenge, okay? Yeah. You can live stream it. You're going to run on a treadmill at the start of the green flag. You pick your class, and you don't get to finish until that leader has crossed the line from timing and scoring. Just to find out, because there's a lot of keyboard warriors that love to say, yeah, I can do that. We'll find out.
Okay, here we go. That should be Reardon now making his way through. Fourth the number 35 machine.
This is a big one for Gus as well. You want to talk about a guy that has gotten really tired of coming up short of a win.
There goes Johnson now. And watching here, that I wasn't quite able to catch that rider for sure. That is Grant Davis. They're aboard the number 1.
I think it was Ricky Russell that was in front of him with the last shot.
Yes, that was.
This is going to get interesting. This might get a little dicey. We get out to the last lap. Strang still moving through, hustling. I had to laugh. I thought he was handling business. He was handling business on the starting line, but he's like, no, I was radioing the kids. Tell them hi. That was it.
All right, there went Grant Baylor.
And Craig DeLong just behind. Yeah, we talk about the wearing of multiple hats. we oftentimes forget to put the husband, the father hats on as well. Ben Kelly making his way through.
Sure, not quite the day Ben was hoping for here. Hey, well, back to the mile 13 here to watch our leaders. And jump in when you need to, guys. Let's take a look here at our XC3 125 Pro-Am. Jonathan Johnson going to be leading the way on the 981 Gas. James Jenkins, Huck Jenkins, Jason Crawford, and Isaiah Brown going to be your top 5 there for that XC3 class. And a big one going on here for some of our A classes. Let's jump in and take a look at our Open A. It's Cole Whitmer, Samuel Evans, Keenan Rupp, Mac Reimer, and TJ Brown. That's going to be your top 5. And for your 250A, of course, Gavin Simon going to be leading the way. Chase Landers in the number 2 spot. JoJo Cunningham holds on to 3rd. Cooper Jones in the 4th place spot. And then Will Steven Piper going to round out your top 5 for that 250A.
We welcome back into the booth Johnny Gallagher. Johnny, we've had some lead changes, both off of mistakes, one by Stu, one by Ashburn. And right now, Stu the man to beat out in front. Ashburn has been close, and it's been that accordion effect. It's kind of reel them in, they stretch it out. No guy's really been able to run away just yet. And I say that, and we got some distance right there.
Yeah, Stu Baylor's starting to stretch it out a little bit on screen here. But I was listening to you guys when I stepped out of the booth. Obviously, Jordan Ashburn having a small crash, allowing Stu Baylor back up into the mix after he started to gap out just a little bit. And Liam Draper still lurking back there. And again, one more big shout out to Gavin Simon. Actually, that last camera shot, he came through and has now passed quite a few more of the XC2 riders. Was ahead of Josh Toad physically.
It's wild.
He's just continuing to march his way up through the field as we can start to see this racetrack really starting to dry up, at least out in the sections here that are exposed to the sunlight and the wind. Obviously still very, very slick down in the woods, but man, challenging conditions, and it's provided us some excellent racing action here today. Honestly, this one's kind of been in question from the drop, but this guy, the man leading right now, is the guy who was leading at the beginning, relinquished the lead for a little while to Jordan Ashburn on that number 3 Flat Rock Racing Gas, but right now he's got a comfortable little gap, just enough that Jordan Ashburn not able to run it in, take alternate lines. He's just chasing right now as they will be coming to a white flag waving.
Be 5 when it's in the books. Stu Baylor holding them off. Johnny made this point earlier. It was when Ashburn was in the lead. The scenarios we've had in the past, and I say, a long time ago, old school GNCC, a whole 2 years ago, when a guy like Stu is in front like this, he could kind of set his pace, race his own race. You got to almost, there's this added element now of, and I know he's getting pit boards that are telling him where he's at. He's in first OA. But there's no doubt that if you're Stu right now, it's in the back of your head. Where the heck is the XC2 leader, and is he within shot of an OA on adjusted time?
Sure, because even though he's getting those rundowns as far as that he is the overall leader, I don't know how detailed they're getting with that information. Does he know exactly the gap that he has back to say Gus Reardon, who's the first rider out of that XC2 class? If you look at the elapsed time, he's got about a minute to work with on time correction. But he may not know that in his mind. Just because you're the physical overall leader and they're telling you, yep, you're 1 OA, you don't know what information is being passed along. And a guy like Stu, we know he's doing math in his head.
Oh, absolutely.
He's doing all kinds of things. And he's probably likely wondering, like, hey, who's back there? And especially, shout out to Liam, or to Gus Reardon and also Cody Barnes. But normally these guys would seemingly this year be worried about Grant Davis. And, Stu's referenced him in many times in pre-race interviews. But with the white flag waving, he now knows it's a pretty simple race from here. Go as fast as you can. Because Jordan Ashburn's back there pushing him. I don't know that this is a pacing thing right now. I think this is just what the track will give them in terms of grip and without hitting the deck and losing time, which we've already seen both of these guys on the ground on camera.
A 25-second difference in his last lap time versus this one. Stu Baylor starting to speed things up.
Stu into the pro pits. In and through the pro pits. And the lapper says, let me move out the way. And around the backside of the pro pits past Beta and the Phoenix Racing Honda team. And enjoying just shy of a 30-second lead with the white flag out now.
14-second lap time. It's going to be 30 seconds faster this time around. But now as Ashburn checks in, a 14-second lead for him. And Ashburn going to have 25 seconds back to Liam Draper.
There you go. So it's really starting to, as much as it's stretching out, it really is still a very close race here at the front. We've seen these guys on the ground. We know how tricky the conditions are. All the lapped riders, all the challenging sections that lie ahead. I think we're far from declaring a winner in this one. We've got one full lap of racing action left, and it's looking like it could get challenging. Look at that, kind of a hybrid line through the middle there, trying to find some good dirt, some firm traction, and some running room. Stu Baylor continuing to try to stretch out any seconds that he can over Jordan Ashburn behind him there in the number 2 spot.
in these mud races, when they make that mistake and they go down, it always takes them a little bit more time. They want to get the gloves cleaned off just to give themselves as much grip as they can. We saw that out of both Ashburn and Baylor when they went down. It took a little bit longer than what you would normally see at a good, clean, dry race.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. You want to avoid, we saw so many riders, not necessarily in our XC1, XC2, but so many riders in the amateur classes on the ground in the first couple corners. And man, to have muddy gloves and slippery grips that early on in the running, it just puts you at a disadvantage. You're having such a hard time hanging on. So we've seen these guys take a little extra time in the pits and a little extra care throughout the day to try to keep themselves upright. This is not a full-out sprint, but I think it may turn into one between those two.
Yes.
And Liam Draper also not far behind. Anything he has left in the tank, any tricks up his sleeve, any good lines that he saved up, any energy that he has left, he's going to expend it all this last lap, sitting solidly in a podium position, but he's wanting more.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell that in kind of the pre-race interview. Zach and Jackson both talking about it in post-race interviews. Liam Draper kind of reaching that point in his pro career where still stoked on the podium finishes, but you can tell in the voice inflection and the body language he wants that win. I don't know. I shouldn't say don't know. Anything can happen on a day like today, but Liam really, really wants that first XC1 win.
Yeah, I think Liam in a kind of almost a rebuilding, maybe you could call it right now mode. I mean, after coming out and just absolutely shocking the world the last 4 races of 2024 in that XC1 class, definitely 2025 has not measured up so far with the finishes.
Just the one podium for him in round 4.
Yep, the podium at round 4. But other than that, it's kind of been a mixed for him. And today, to notch his record with another podium would be a big, big step into building that confidence that he had coming into the season, thinking, hey, I'm going to be a guy that's battling for race wins week in and week out, just as he was at the end of 2024. So conditions like this can go a long way to either eroding away at that confidence or building it. And today, Liam Draper using it to do exactly the better of the two options, building the confidence, solidly running in a podium position, and again, still within striking distance. Surely wants more, but I don't think we're going to see Liam do anything crazy to go after those two in front of him, sitting solidly in a podium. I think he's going to kind of throw everything he has at it within reason and really try to put that Ampro Yamaha up on the podium for a little confidence, feather in the cap, thank the sponsors, and move forward saying, hey, that was a good points day. We're in this fight again.
Jackson, how do we look as far as top 5, top 10 is concerned between the XC1, XC2?
So taking a look here at Reardon, he checked in about 37 seconds after Draper did, and then Reardon going to have a 13-second gap over Grant Davis, as Davis has now gotten around Cody Barnes.
So there you go. That is your top 3 in XC2. Gus Reardon, Grant Davis, Cody Barnes sitting in that 4th, 5th, and 6th place spot in the overall. Josh Strang is also checked in. Now Josh Toth checks in the number 8 spot overall. And then we are, looks like Craig DeLong and Ben Kelly, as well as Grant Baylor, Ricky Russell, and
waiting on our 250A leader, Gavin Simon, to check in. He's been in 6th place this entire lap after lap after lap. Let's see if he can do it again.
Get that guy a big bottle of champagne if he hangs on to this.
DeFeo just checks in on screen, so he should be popping into our overall top 20 here.
And he pops in to the 12th place position.
Ricky Russell bumps back to 13th in the overall.
Keep your eyes out for Simon. Let's see if we can see him making his way through.
Also be waiting on Brody Johnson.
Yep.
Caleb Russell, and then
there goes Ben Kelly.
Brody Johnson, Chase Landers, Cole Whitmer, all to be checking in here soon.
Auntie was in here earlier, talked a little ISDE, talked about the team. You probably could have answered who was going. Maybe. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, really cool. Get that broke here on Racer TV, and then obviously I think you said that the official news media drop will be happening this week. I'm assuming you're going, Johnny?
I'll most likely be riding around today, doing a little chase ride.
Good.
Schedule permitting, which right now it does look clear.
Nice.
I'll head over there and just try to be the voice of reason, keep those guys and gals on track. And
makes sense.
It's it's a cool experience, to race an international event like that, 6 days long. It really is a one-of-a-kind event. It's the, kind of the Olympics of motorcycling. Obviously, we have the MX of Nations this year here in the United States at Ironman Raceway coming up this fall. But yeah, this summer, while we're on break from GNCC,
August, right?
Some of the best that the U.S. has to offer, both in the trophy teams, which he talked about, and then there's also several club teams where riders qualify through a series of qualifiers to represent their country, and headed over to Italy. Always interesting, to get to go travel the world because of racing dirt bikes and ATVs is something that never kind of gets old for me. And Antio will listen to this at some point, and I ask him every year. I have no idea why they chose an ATV guy to chase on a dirt bike.
I could imagine.
But I think Caleb had something to do with it initially. But ever since then, I guess, you just got to kind of keep the guys and gals in line and keep tabs on what's happening. It's a lot like announcing Racer TV. There's a lot of chaos.
Cat wrangling.
While you're in the middle of talking, you see Stu Baylor on screen. You say, hey, Stu Baylor, still your leader. And looking as we pan to the right, we should see, and there is the big number 3 of Jordan Ashburn still giving chase, not able to eat into that lead. And if there's anybody that's really going to throw everything at it here today, I really think Jordan Ashburn is going to dig in these final miles of racing to try to get to that rear wheel and have at least an opportunity to try to make the pass on Stu Baylor.
I'm going to call it now. There's going to be dust kicked up at the finish. Maybe not finished, but maybe one of those lines that's been sitting in the sun.
When I went to Ampro, just right here at the start, I've been walking around all day, and it has changed a lot as we see Liam Draper here on the screen. Things are definitely drying up out there as the sun continues to shine, this wind blowing. It's definitely forming up. I don't know if you'd say drying up, tacking up would be the word to use. This mud will stick to absolutely anything, and it does not want to come off. Hey, but we do have an update here, guys. 250A class. It is going to be Chase Landers now overtaking the lead, so we've had a tough break here for Gavin Simon. Something definitely happened as he still has not checked in with 4 laps complete. Tough break for Gavin Simon. What a ride he had going.
Yeah, it was up into, a top 6 on the OA?
I mean, there's always the possibility of a transponder issue, but I do not believe so. And while we have a break here, we can check in with some of our other classes. Jump in, guys, when you need to. Going to check in with our 150A, Colby Goodman, Joe Shriver, Ryder Siggety, who I believe we just saw on Racer TV, Kate Stats, and Easton Uplinger going to be the top 5 for that 150A. And then our 4-stroke A lights classes, Owen Barnes, Olin Daniels, Braden Baisley, Brody Amos, and Joshua Connor. That's going to be leading the way. Caleb Boyd, Keegan Needler, Briar Menez, Tucker Kenry, and Brady Weimer going to round out your top 10 for 4-stroke A lights.
We see that Phoenix Racing Honda pit board getting warmed up there. Signs that we may see the battle for our XC2 lead coming this way. We know there's several riders involved in that, including Phoenix Honda of Cody Barnes. Last we knew, it was actually Gus Reardon who had retaken the point position in that class, and Grant Davis in the mix as well. A 3-way battle for those guys trying to sort out those podium positions. Stu Baylor on screen, 4 miles into this one now, and back to the former shot there. And now here comes Jordan Ashburn in the number 2 spot. Not waiting around at all. Stu Baylor pushing, but Jordan Ashburn trying to keep it in check. Right now, not quite able to see him. And there is Grant Davis just ahead of him, just out of camera shot. That is Reardon in possibly still the number 1 spot, jumping back and forth. We'll see if Cody Barnes did come through that camera shot. But right now, 1 mile further ahead at the 4-mile marker. We'll wait nor watch for the 198 of Draper. Should be coming through here in the number 3 spot physically on the racetrack, and at last check had a, I believe it was 37 second gap over the XC2 leader of Gus Reardon. No goggles for Draper, but he is through physically into the number 3 spot and pushing the pace, trying to maintain that gap over the pursuing XC2 riders behind him.
And speaking of XC2, Grant Davis is not backing down here in this one. 13 seconds was the gap at the line, and it looks like that is definitely diminished.
Pushing late, white flag out, time to race.
So Caleb Russell and Ryder Lafferty have now checked in. That's how strung out things are here. That is 15th and 16th overall as they run. And did we see
Cole Whitmer jumping up out of that open A, going to push them down. So Caleb Russell checks in on overall elapsed time, 17th place.
Does not look. Gavin Simon still has not checked in now with his 4th lap complete. So an unfortunate turn of events for Gavin Simon. Also, Brody Johnson not yet to check in that XC2 class.
So things starting to wind down here in a crazy day in St. Clairsville, Ohio. Man, what a season we've had here for the 50th annual Progressive Insurance Grand National Cross Country Racing Series. We've been off to a good one here today. Plenty of action. Things have been changing. Things have been going on between Stu Baylor and Jordan Ashburn. The two been going down, each of them going down on screen right now. Still continuing to watch this mile 4 mark as we get ready to throw it to a break. There goes the number 35 machine of Reardon making his way through that shot. And man, what a day it has been. Look at the mud that is out on this course. Stu Baylor in control of this one now. It's going to be his race to lose going in to these final few sections of the course. And we'll get ready. We'll come back here in just a minute to the Kenda Powerline Park GNCC.
On Track School is an online private school catering to some of the top athletes in the world. We offer a flexible schedule for students that are chasing their dreams and always on the go. We are an accredited K-12 school where students can graduate with a diploma. Scan the QR code or call us to book an appointment with one of our learning coaches to discuss your students' next steps.
We've been there since the very beginning.
20 left! The main event! The mud, the blood, the beer!
Organizing the industry and building champions. "100 years of defending your rights to ride into the future."
Community, family, teamwork. It's what we have stood on for over a decade. Hauling might be what we do at the surface, but it's much deeper than that. Because what you need matters. When you need a haul, give us a call at 724-852-4488. For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, we at JD Enterprises are prepared to serve you.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. Welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. Well, one of the coolest things about racing GNCC is our AMSOIL Moto Hero, and we got to highlight that here this weekend. Just, again, absolutely one of the coolest things we do out here. We take one of our currently serving military servicemen or women. This was Liechtenstein out of the twin brothers that race, very cool, man, just to see him out there doing his thing. And he's done, I believe, I don't have my notes in front of me. I think it was 4 tours and about to 6, heading out on his 7th and final tour. So what a way to say thank you to him before he heads out one more time. And I got to think, if you've done 7 tours, done 6, going to do 7, a mutter like we had yesterday, a mutter like you had today, he's probably like, I don't really care. I'm out here racing an ATV. This is easy. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely comparatively speaking, you could talk about this being, a challenging set of conditions. But what those gentlemen do, and like we talked about yesterday, Mikey, the old saying, you wear our boot, you wear your boots so that we can wear ours. And obviously, a very cool thing that GNCC does, along with AMSOIL and several of these sponsors, helping those guys out with a little gift pack and some
Canadi's in there, I believe.
Yeah, a little Canadi gift card for a set of. Credit towards a set of tires and AMSOIL gift card for some AMSOIL products. A lot of companies getting on board with that, wanting to show their appreciation of veterans and first responders.
So watching the FMF PowerPoint getting down to the nitty-gritty in what we called an abbreviated race. I don't know where we'll end up when it's said and
156 plus another 30. So, I mean, we're probably going to be 2 hours, 28, 229,
which it was, if you tuned in late and you're thinking, well, that's short of what it needs to be. Correct. At a normal race, you're right. But this was an abbreviated race where it was, we are racing a minimum of 2 hours. So we thought it's going to be 4 or 5 laps. And what that meant, basically, if they came in at 1 hour, 59 seconds or 1 hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, they were going back out for one more lap, so that it was a minimum 2 hours. And that's what we got turned into. It's going to be a 5-lap race. And we've had some back and forth between Jordan Ashburn and Stu Baylor, and it looks like Stu Baylor still in control of this one, but Jordan Ashburn not too far off the pace of the Rocky Mountain Red Bear Racing Kawasaki of Stu Baylor.
Yeah, this is a battle that is still continuing, and back there we know Liam Draper also lurking in the number 3 spot, just waiting for either of these guys to make a mistake or even a rough section of racetrack where he can close up that gap. So 3 riders still very much in the mix here, but it is Stu Baylor right now holding that point position and continuing to try to march away from his pursuer, Jordan Ashburn. And it looks like things may have gotten a little bit closer here.
Yeah, it was it 15 when they checked in?
Yeah, so the gap like about 5 seconds now. There is Baylor. The 9-mile marker. And there is Ashburn. So it is definitely a much closer race than when we last saw. So this battle continues and far from decided. Ashburn now within striking distance, opening up some opportunities to maybe try to go for the pass and take that lead position. But Lapper in the rut now and opening things up just a little bit.
And Johnny, am I mistaken, or is this the first time this year we would have an overall podium? Now, it's not over, an overall podium 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, look at this. Baylor held up. And now Ashburn right to the rear wheel of Baylor.
First podium with it would be overall with XC1 exclusively.
I do believe that would be the case.
I think that's right.
Because I think, obviously, Big Buck was all XC2.
Yeah.
And then Florida, Johnny and Caleb 1, 2, and I think Grant was 3rd.
I think so.
So that, and then going on to Talladega, we know we had some XC2 riders on the podium there. We'd have to run it down, but I do believe Grant Davis also nearly winning Camp Coker, and then last round Grant Davis taking second in the overall. So yeah, this could potentially be the first all XC1 podium if they're able to hang on to it. Liam Draper coming through at the 9-mile marker has definitely given up some time.
Yeah.
But I think he's still, with 37 seconds, give or take, to play with over Gus Reardon and Grant Davis. I don't know that he's lost that much time, but it may be close, because he definitely lost a good bit of time from our last camera shot there. He was only, 25 seconds back from Jordan Ashburn, and now it was, I would say he's closer to a minute, judging by that camera shot we had.
And just got word from Jackson Burrell. Russell is out with a broken brake line. I just asked KR or Ricky. So one of the Russells, Johnny, I don't know if you've got a text in there.
No, I haven't got anything. They I can tell by Caleb's last lap time, he was over 2 minutes off the pace of his, of the riders around him.
He had a wheel change.
Well, that would have been the lap prior, though.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, I don't know exactly how that's shaken out.
Okay, yes, it is KR.
Yeah, so unfortunate way to end the day. No points for the 557 machine today. Be a big blow to his points chase. But on screen, still Stu Baylor leading the way. Now he's opened it back up a little bit over Jordan Ashburn.
Yeah, not seeing Ashburn in the same camera shot, at least the tighter shot.
There is Gus Reardon, I believe. Yep. The 35 machine still leading the way in that XC2 class, and he's opened it up a little bit now over Grant Davis, who was right on his rear wheel, unless we miss Davis. This is the battle for the lead on screen. The rider in front, Stu Baylor, leading the way physically and on corrected time. Second place back there, the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn on that factory gas machine, pushing for every ounce of speed he can find to try to get back to Stu Baylor. Just a few moments ago was on his rear wheel after Baylor having a little holdup, a little hiccup with some lapped riders. And Ashburn now clawing, clamoring, doing everything he can, trying to get back to Baylor as we are running out of mile markers here, getting ever so much closer to a checkered flag.
Yeah, Baylor in control right now, and as we saw earlier, Baylor got a little hung up with a lapper. Earlier in this race, it was a scenario where it's like, man, if one guy makes a mistake and goes down, can capitalize right now. At least a moment ago, Ashburn was close enough to where if Baylor got hung up, Jordan might be able to jump out to a different line and pick up the lead. Ooh, it's tightening up. I like it.
Yeah, both these guys now throwing everything at it, not thinking about corrected time, and XC2 riders, they are just racing each other as hard as they possibly can, trying to get to the finish line. Stu Baylor trying to hang on to it. Jordan Ashburn trying to wrestle it away, and back there in the distance, Liam Draper, round about a minute or so back in that number 3 spot, trying to outrun the trio of XC2 riders behind him, Gus Reardon, Grant Davis, and Cody Barnes. We did see Reardon in that last camera shot. We did not see Davis. Don't know, can't say for certain that we believe Reardon's still leading, but Grant Davis and Cody Barnes lurking back there as well somewhere.
So Stu trying to pick up what would be his second win of the season, his first win since Talladega. In a similar day, a mud race.
Ashburn is as close as he's been.
They hide in the trees. See him pop out the other side.
Oh, you can see big look back over the shoulders to Stu Baylor there. And looks like now Draper coming through in the number 3 spot.
No goggles. That's been a tough on this back half of this race here for Draper.
Ashburn with a little different line through there, but Stu Baylor able to open it up a little bit. We'll see Baylor looking like he's stuck a little bit in those ruts, but Ashburn able to get to him, but nowhere to go to get around him. Baylor absolutely sprinting now, knowing he needs to make every apex of every corner count, not leave the door open, and this is it, folks. We are down to the final section of racetrack, and this is the battle for the lead you're watching on screen. Baylor going out wide, losing traction. Jordan Ashburn up the right side. This one's going to be close, folks.
Yeah, I think Ashburn had the better line right there as Stu struggles just a bit, and Ashburn trying to reel him in, and hey, there's a little bit of that dust we were talking about.
Yeah, see Jordan Ashburn with the big dab, and look at this, lapped riders now very much coming into play. They do not realize that the riders coming up very quickly behind them is the battle for the lead.
Oh man, Stu with a little dab right there as he get around the lap traffic. The lapper looks over the left shoulder, and Ashburn around the right side. Ashburn is, yeah, man, he's got him in the crosshairs right now, just looking for opportunity. Stu doing his best he can to defensive ride in tough conditions.
There's a 2-line section coming up here with an upper and lower line. There is a clear faster line, but I think if you're Jordan Ashburn, you got to shoot your shot and try to take any line that Stu Baylor isn't in to make it work, or just try to pressure Stu Baylor into a mistake. Washing the front end right now would mean surely giving up the lead. Stu Baylor hitting his marks and looking great out front, but Jordan Ashburn continuing to apply the pressure.
This is going to be a good one, and what has been, I won't say it's certainly not been a boring race, but this is the action we wanted here at the end. We've had some back and forth, but it's been a scenario where a guy goes down and the other guy was able to capitalize. Right now, this is mano a mano between Ashburn and Baylor. Baylor out in front. No lap traffic, at least directly in front of him. Maybe a little mistake right there by Baylor. Ashburn inches his way closer. Baylor trying to hold him off.
Right now he's got a couple bike lengths, but not much breathing room. A lapped rider could prove very costly in this section of racetrack.
Oh man, this is wheel to wheel at this point. You can almost throw a blanket over the two of them. Stu's got to be just about perfect right here. Small dab right there. Oh, Ashburn on the outside line, just trying to find speed. And I think Stu maybe the better line right there. Back into the woods we go. Still 1 and 2.
Couple lap riders right there ahead of him.
Oh, yep. Baylor up front. Ashburn in the 2 spot.
There is a lapped rider in the mix. Oh, look at that side-by-side.
Baylor still out in front around another lapper, and Ashburn in the 2 spot, but man, this one's getting close.
And this is it. This is the final section of racetrack. They just go down around the end. They got a couple chicanes coming to the finish. Ashburn not close enough right now to make a move, but just 2 turns ago, he was literally side by side with Stu Baylor, trying to make the pass, trying to wrestle away this win.
All right, comes down to this. Baylor out in front, Ashburn in the 2 spot, little back and forth. He showed him the front wheel. Baylor doing a good job keeping it on 2 wheels, coursing through here, racing forward. Doesn't even seem concerned right now about what Ashburn's doing behind him. Right now looking like Baylor might be all right. Not much track left between now and the finish.
Can see the fans coming out to the edge of the racetrack to witness this one in person. If you're not watching on Racer TV, you're missing out because we are following them. And look at this, different line, outside line. Jordan Ashburn trying to make a run.
Oh, you can hear the throttle. Did they come together?
Jordan Ashburn around the outside, and I think he made the pass.
Oh, no, but right on the rear wheel. So Baylor still out in front, Ashburn in the 2 spot.
Oh, I think Ashburn may have, oh, nope, there he is still there. I thought he went down for a moment.
That was close.
But they are hanging it out, and now this is it. You can see the finish line just over to the right there. They are quickly running out of racetrack, and for Stu Baylor, that's got to be a welcome feeling because Jordan Ashburn absolutely has him under fire, everything he can do. And again, it looks like he's almost going to get up next to him here, trying around the outside. He's carrying the speed.
Oh, Ashburn is going to have the inside line. Oh, look at that. Baylor shuts the door. Man. So Baylor's still out in front. Ashburn in that 2 spot. Ashburn has thrown everything at him but the kitchen sink. Oh, maybe a mistake by Ashburn. I think we just lost Ashburn. So, yes, a mistake by Ashburn. And Stu Baylor will get the breathing room I think he needs to seal the deal on this one. And still, oh, man, that sucks for Ashburn.
He has picked
back up on 2 wheels.
They're in the number 2 spot.
And he's, that now settled into that 2 spot.
And that's it.
And Baylor's going to come in for the win. But you got to hand it to Ashburn, trying to make it happen there late, unable to make the pass. And how about it for this man? The 5-1-4, Stu Baylor hangs on for the win against a heated battle between him and Jordan Ashburn.
I got to tell you, Mikey, I know Stu Baylor goes back and watches these races. I think when he sees how close Jordan Ashburn was on his inside coming to that right-hander about 30 seconds ago, he's going to realize Jordan Ashburn, a classic competitor and a very nice guy. Because
good point.
He had the line. Stu had him maybe by an inch. If Jordan Ashburn would have stayed in it, likely both of them could have ended up on the ground. But Jordan Ashburn letting off, ultimately hitting the deck himself in the trees where we couldn't see. But now they're telling the war stories. What a battle that one was.
I'm with you. I absolutely expected those guys to come together in that corner. Jordan had the line. Great move by Baylor to jump back into that inside line and close the door. And Jordan choosing to check up a bit. I want to listen into the conversation, but I don't know if we can. Okay. Well, I mean, well, we're on YouTube. They can say what they want. It's true. I say that as they go quiet.
I think they've said what they have to say at this point. They both said, I was smoked, I was done. They were laying it all on the line that last lap. Now we'll wait and see. Liam Draper, is he able to get to the line quick enough after the time correction to hold off that charging battle for the XC2 win? We don't know how that one's going to shake out. We'll see if we get some camera shots here coming into the finish with Gus Reardon, Grant Davis, Cody Barnes still trying to settle those podium positions in the XC2 class. There is Draper, so he will physically be third. It's going to be close. He had more than enough time to play with leading into that white flag, but it looks like he gave up some time on that final lap of racing. And with Reardon charging, we'll have to wait and see, has Liam Draper done enough to earn another overall podium? We know he's going to be on the XC1 podium with the third place finish in XC1.
Liam leaving it all out on the track today. Finishes that one with the goggles off. And, boy, heck of a day for Liam. He honestly, Johnny, on an island by himself for most of this race in that 3 spot.
Yeah, he was close. Could see those guys at the beginning, kind of lap 2 there. Into lap 3, he got dropped, and then he made a charge back and got pretty close there. And then just at the end, the last lap, those guys picked up the pace. Looked like Liam may have had some struggles as he lost some time in one section of racetrack. But still a great ride for that AmPro Yamaha rider on the XC1 podium for sure. Yep. 3rd place, and we're being pointed and told that here comes Gus Reardon with the win in the XC2 class, and with the time correction, knocks Liam Draper off the overall podium. It will be Gus Reardon with 3rd place overall, knocking Liam Draper back to that 4th place position in the overall. Gus Reardon pushing that final lap, and with Draper's struggles, we still do not have an all XC1 podium here on Sunday in 2025.
Absolutely insane. Jackson Burrow, the man on the spot, letting Angus Reardon know, hey, bud, you're top 3 OA. So, yeah, Johnny, to your point, man, 6 rounds in the books, and we still do not have a XC1 exclusive OA podium, as Draper going to be just bumped off of this one.
10 seconds, the tail of the tape. Gus Reardon able, he ran that last lap of racing. He ran a 29:24 to Liam's 30 minutes and 12 seconds, or 11 seconds. So he was, near 40 seconds faster on that final lap of racing, and able to get the job done, grabbing that final podium position for the overall podium.
Well, big congratulations to him. Standing by here, I believe our man Zach Herron going to be down there with Stu Baylor in just a moment, getting that interview set up, and looks like Stu and Zach are just about ready.
Cody Barnes also now checking in 2nd place in that XC2 class, and looking for now to be in the 5th place spot in the overall. 49 seconds behind your race winner, Gus Reardon.
Gus Reardon, man that has wanted that for a while, makes it happen today and puts it on the overall box, waiting to get an interview with Stu, as well as Jordan Ashburn after a sensational ride by him. And we'll talk with Gus Reardon, as well as
still no Grant Davis. A big shake-up there.
Yeah, good point. Has not checked in yet, still.
Well, we were thinking might be a good points day for the number 1. And there is Davis checking in. Oh, actually stalling the machine and giving up a spot physically. Yeah. There is Craig DeLong just behind him.
Yeah, Craig, that was Strang in front of
So
Davis.
I don't think that'll cost him a position overall as he checks in. Davis still showing in that 6th place spot in the overall. Josh Strang 7th and Craig DeLong 8th. Still waiting on Ben Kelly. So it will be a positive points day for Grant Davis. He's going to make up at least a few on his KTM teammate, Ben Kelly.
I believe that's Colby Goodman there. That makes me feel old. I believe he was the micro bike champion my first year. Now racing the 3-year. It gets worse, doesn't it, Johnny? The longer I do this, it's like, hey, that guy retired, and I used to call his micro races. It just happens. So waiting on our interviews here.
There is Ben Kelly checking in, and it looks like we are ready with our XC2 winner, Gus Reardon.
Hey guys, down here grabs the XC2 win and gets a spot on the overall podium. Gus Reardon, we talked about it in the broadcast, how much you've been a little dissatisfied with these 2nds and 3rds. You've been wanting to make that statement. You did today. Take us through it.
Yeah, coming into the last round, I was crook, and it was a bit of a bummer because I was feeling good, and then there's a lot of motivation there, and been training hard with Strang these last few weeks, and we've been pushing each other, and it was good to finally get it. Did some testing during the week, and yeah, happy days.
Now, it was crazy conditions out there. What did you kind of attribute to your ability to work your way through the pack? That XC2 field caught up to XC1 quick, and you were on the tail end of that top 5 group, and then worked your way forward into that overall picture.
Yeah, I was sort of crashed the first 2 laps and just lost sort of 2-3 positions, which was a bit annoying, but then I was feeling good. I was yelling with the track. I was like, all right, let's go. And then I caught Cody, passed him, and then Grant caught me on the last lap, and I was like, come on, we got to go. And
you brought it home, man. Gus Reardon gets the job done. Overall 3rd place, XC2 win.
Well, huge congratulations to the XC2 winner, Gus Reardon, and a third on the OA. Heard him hitting that rev limiter coming through the finish line. He's wanted this one for a while and makes it happen here today.
Making up 9 points in the overall points battle in that XC2 class. He was sitting in that number 2 spot, I believe, in points behind his teammate Grant Davis, and making up 9 points today. So that's a big point swing for him. And Cody Barnes also checking in the number 2 spot, and Grant Davis checking in third. So we do have our top 3 checked in XC2, and it looks like still only our top 9 overall. And it looks like we've got Jackson Burrell ready with our second place overall finisher, Jordan Ashburn.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Jordan Ashburn. Jordan, we got to see that battle all day long there on Racer TV. Quite the show you guys were putting on. Take us through it from your point of view.
Yeah, man, it's the track ended up being way racier than I thought it would be, and man, Stu got out early and got going, and I knew I had to make some passes really quick on first lap, and I made my way into second, and just felt really flowy and just putting stuff together good, and kind of caught up to him, and then he crashed, I took the lead, and then I crashed, he got it back, and it was just that yo-yo effect, and went on a charge the last lap, and man, tried to make it happen probably 5 or 6 times. We were just rubbing, and but it was a great race. Hats off, he rode great, and happy with the bike, the team, and yeah, glad to be back on the podium to rebound, and yeah, shout out to my mother-in-law's birthday today, so happy birthday.
Jordan, I've got to ask you, man, how I've got you. That crash that you had there, we saw you go down in what looked like almost a little pond to us. How was that? We talked about how slippery this bike can get. How was it for you after that one?
Yeah, down in the soupy hole down here. I was trying to take an inside there, and I was trying to turn, and there's some roots under the water I didn't see, and knifed the front, and just like, I mean, nearly face planted in that water. And I tried not to take my hands off the bars, tried to keep my gloves as dry as possible, and then Stu passed around me, and I was like, man, I just give him position back, and gotta go. You know, the seat was slick after that, and I had some things, some towels to put around the grips, and kind of just got back going and charged after that, and tried to get back to the lead. But it was a challenge, and it was a tough day.
Regardless, still a solid second place, guys. That's Jordan Ashburn.
Well, big congratulations to Jordan Ashburn on the race. Solid day for him, finishing in that 2 spot. Johnny, I'm throwing it out there now. Before this year's up, Ashburn's, he's getting one.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely in the mix. Today's not the first time. You know, we've seen some unfortunate turn of events for him so far in 2025, but a great finish today and really keeping himself up in the conversation. You keep yourself there week in and week out, you know, and you've got the level of speed and experience that Jordan does. Surely he's going to break through for a win here soon.
Sounds like, I believe, Zach Herron standing by with our winner, Stu Baylor.
Hey, guys. Yeah, down here with your XC1 and overall winner, Stu Baylor. Stu, it was a brawl. The conditions was a tough enough fight, but you throw Jordan Ashburn and the rest of them into the mix. Take us through it, man. You really had a solid performance from early in the race throughout the entire duration. Seemed like you were kind of feeling a strong flow. We did see you go down in that 1 point early on. Not the best way to keep the grips dry, but nonetheless, a rather flawless race.
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, starting out with a whole shot in these conditions is big, and man, I haven't had a whole shot since 2022, so it's been a minute. Actually, sorry, 2021. So
did that explain the wave up at the top of the hill?
Yeah, I was like, I had to do something. I mean, I didn't even know what to do in that position with a clear track ahead. But yeah, got off. Honestly, I was just really pissed off after the last race. If you want me to be honest, man, I had a lot to prove. I knew I should have won there, and you know, I feel like that should be back-to-back wins that I just clicked off, and I didn't. And yeah, I mean, looking at points this year, it's just really frustrating. So you know, today I lined up. I was like, pardon my French, but the bike, we're going to win. We're out of the points. We just got to click off wins, and you know, I'm just going to go have fun, and I'm going to send it. So I was as hard as I could go all day long. But yeah, a few mistakes. Had a crash there. I think you probably caught it on the drone back at the 10-mile marker. I had another one shortly after that. I think at the end of lap 2 over here. Ruined my gloves, spent my bars, tweaked the front end, and part of it, luckily we had the bike set up for mud, able to pull the covers off the grips and keep on getting it. But yeah, I'd love to love to say it was all me, but man, the whole team, the whole Red Bear, Rocky Mountain, Kawasaki team, my wife, my mechanic, team manager, all the other mechanics, all the parents, all the family, everybody that makes this dream possible. Pirelli tires, Shoei helmets, Forma boots, MSR gear, the ASV levers, ODI handlebars, the list goes on. We're a little bit unprepared. I guess they forgot what it's like to win, so I don't have my board down here and I don't have my sponsors. But man, there's so many people. Hats off to them. Hats off to the crew to getting this track ready to race. And man, it was a hell of a day.
Now you talked about the switch in mentality as far as you're out of the point standings. You had some bad luck going your way. Is that kind of the new approach? I don't want to say checkers or wreckers, but going for it, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, after Tennessee, Tennessee was my place to crawl back. Obviously, I was controlling that race from the start, and yeah, I mean, I looking at it right now, I should have gone back-to-back wins, and points wise, that takes your legs out from under you. But part of it, man, it was a fun day, and that's just what we're looking forward to moving forwards is just having fun, winning races, and you know, I guess really that's it, having fun and winning races.
Having fun, winning races. The plan worked for Stu Baylor here today.
Well, Stu picking up first win since Talladega, and he made a good point, Johnny. As we get a interview lined up, we want to talk with Liam Draper, the AmPro Yamaha rider as well. He made a good point. We talked prior to Talladega of this is like a must-win for Stu if he wants a shot at staying in the championship hunt, and there we got it from Stu's own words. Anything can happen. There's still a lot of racing left, but Stu very realistic and like, hey, I'm just going to go have fun and try to win races.
Yeah, that's all you can do when you're in the situation he's in, and nobody has a crystal ball. It's a big gap to make up, but you know, he had a good points day today. He made up points on every one of the riders he's racing potentially for that championship.
Very good point. And we have got, I believe, Jackson Burrell standing by with the 198 AmPro Yamaha ride of Liam Draper.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with our third place in the XC1 class. Liam knocked off the overall podium, but nonetheless solidly in that third place for XC1. Take us through your day.
Yeah, it was a good day. Got off to a really good start. I couldn't believe Stu got the whole shot. I just got done telling him it must have been that extra 100 pounds of weight he's got on for traction. But no, I was like, man, Stu's going to be really good today with the deep ruts, and wanted to follow him. And I kind of screwed up a hill and lost touch with him. And then Jordan got by me, and just kind of rode by myself. Jordan pulled away, and then I got back close to Stu at the pit, and just try to put a sprint in that last lap because I knew the XC2 boys are coming, but I gave it all I had, and yeah, 4th overall, 3rd XC1, happy to be back on the podium.
Yeah, man, I've got to ask you, how does it feel? How's this season been for you? Does it feel like there's any kind of rebuilding process? Johnny talked about it a little bit today. How does it feel to be back up here on the podium?
Yeah, it feels awesome to be back on the podium. You know, I had a really good race in Camp Coker and an average day at Tennessee, but we worked hard these last week or so with the bike and did a lot of testing, and I think we've come up with something good, and I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Well, it seems to be paying off, guys. That's your 3rd place in the XC1 class.
Liam Draper, you know, to your point, Johnny, those podiums for Liam, stoked to be there, feels that's where he belongs, but you can just kind of tell in the voice inflection language there, he wants more.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this is a rider that's been, you know, now nearing a year of knocking on the door for potentially, you know, battling for wins. Yeah. And, you know, we've seen him battle for them, but I think one is coming, just like we talked about with Jordan Ashburn, one likely coming Liam Draper's way soon, sooner than later.
Take a look at this Specialized race recap. Well, we were on a delay. We were on an abbreviated race as well in a mutter and what was almost a pro motocross style start uphill and then an immediate left hand to a right hand in corner 2, but it was that man right there. As Liam said, I'll throw him under the bus, it was those extra 100 pounds from Stu to give him the advantage and grab that Landers KTM Holeshot award.
Yep, and then in our XC2 class, quick off the trigger, it was Grant Davis, but running up the inside, it was Gus Reardon able to sneak in there into the number 2 spot just behind your defending champion, along with Nick DeFeo, Josh Toth, Cody Barnes, all up in the mix. They were your top 5, kind of leaving the first section of racetrack. And then the 2 smokes out there, XC2 taking off, or XC3 taking off the line. Whole bunch of blue fenders up there. And I don't know that we did get an official update on who ended up winning XC3, but we'll try to confirm that here. And you can see some contact made, and that shows you just how challenging this racetrack here was today. Some of the best riders in the world finding themselves on the ground in the first 3 turns.
Yeah, just surviving those first few turns to give him some momentum. That does it justice. I mean, that's what it was like all day. Stu Baylor with baby blanket in tow, having a heck of a day, and as it wore on, it became a battle between Stu and Jordan Ashburn on the factory gas machine. And both guys, there is a mistake by Stu. Ashburn capitalizes. And it was back and forth like that. It was mistakes by both guys that allowed them to make passes.
Yeah, the lead was traded a few times, but it really was just between those two. Liam Draper throwing himself in the mix throughout much of the race. Caleb Russell with an extended pit stop to change a front wheel, ultimately exiting the race entirely with a broken brake line. Tough day for the multi-time champion. Then Jordan Ashburn, as we came down to the final lap of racing, able to get right to Stu Baylor's rear wheel with the help of some lappers, but then really throwing caution to the wind, getting up next to Baylor multiple times in the final sections of racetrack. Going down just a few corners before the finish, Stu Baylor taking a look over his shoulder and saying, wait a minute, that's not Jordan Ashburn. Where did he go? But those two literally battled it down until about 3 or 4 turns to go.
So solid day, a very exciting finish. Liam Draper finished third in the XC1 and fourth in the overall, and just an enormous day for Angus Reardon, finishing third in the OA, first in that XC2 class. There is your top 10. We talked about them: Baylor, Ashburn, Reardon, and Draper, and then Cody Barnes. We didn't talk about him much very late, but he had a great day, leading early in this one. Rounds out the top 5 with Grant Davis a 6th, Strang 7th, Craig DeLong a 9th, Toth, and Ben Kelly a not great day for Ben, but a decent day. Although, as I say that, Grant Davis made up some points today as far as the overall championship is concerned.
Yeah, should be about a 4-point gain for Grant Davis. Ben Kelly will still retain that points lead, but neither of those two surely finishing where they wanted to in the overall, but managing, they will still retain number 1 and 2 in the overall points position as we head into round number 7 in Indiana in just a couple weeks.
That's it. Johnny, big takeaway from today.
Tough course, tough conditions, good racing, and Stu Baylor fires back. Every time you think you've got this guy, kind of down on himself, he comes out and says, hey, the conditions are tough. We're not worried about salvaging thing, because in his mind, we're not racing for a championship. Well, after today, you're kind of starting to work your way.
He's doing math already.
You're working your way back into the equation. So big day for Stu Baylor, and obviously also Jordan Ashburn back on the box. I mean, it's a challenging year, but he always gets himself back to in that top 3 somehow.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier. That's probably my takeaway. I think we see, I'm going to say at least 2, maybe 3 more different names grab wins before this year is up. It's just been that kind of season where it's been crazy. Weather has obviously played a big factor. I think it was Josh Strang made a really good point. He's like, we normally have maybe 3 or 4 rounds where we have a mutter like we've had today. He said this year we've had 3 out of 6. Half the races have been these muddy conditions, and at that point it's anybody's opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have inclement conditions like this, it leads to wild racing, and Josh Strang said it best. I mean, 3 in a year is one thing. 3 in essentially 2 months.
It's exhausting.
It's very exhausting. Especially for the crews. I mean, hats off to all the mechanics, all the parents of all the amateur riders, everybody who's going to go back, wash all this stuff up, because we go racing again in 2 weeks.
That's right. That's it. What's going to wrap things up for us? Take a look, I believe, at our schedule, our upcoming schedule. We've got the Hoosier GNCC coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got Bagger Racing League in Hastings coming up for round number 3 on the 24th and 25th. Be sure to check that out on the west, or out west. I guess it's still Midwest, right? Nebraska? I don't know. It's close. It's west of here. How about that? On behalf of Jackson Burrell, Zach Herron, Johnny Gallagher, our camera operators, Matt, Mike, Josh, Adam, John, Kirsten, and Mike Nichols, our drone operator, Gabe Scholl, our engineer, filmer, Brian Risch, our manager, Dan Reinhardt, our spotter, Hollywood, second engineer, Jack Renner, our engineer in charge, Jordan McFadden, our replay operator, Cameron Cotter, our director, Don Hampton, our producer, Adam Gordon, and our executive producer, Carrie Jo Russell. I'm Mikey Waynes, and you've been watching GNCC on RacerTV.com.